Rated by Nationwide News Network Limited. We broadcast from our studios at 14 Ocean Boulevard in the Digicel Center, downtown Kingston, Jamaica. Transmitting on the FM 90 band. 90.3 from Peters Rock in St. Andrew and Murphy Hill in St. Anne. Serving Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, parts of Clarendon, St. Mary and St. Thomas. 90.5 from Huntley in Manchester. Transmitting to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Clarendon, rural St. Andrew and parts of St. Thomas. And 90.7 from Cooper's Hill in St. Andrew and Flower Hill in St. James. Serving Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, sections of Trelawney, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, Portland and St. Anne. Nationwide 90 FM, also broadcast on YouTube at Nationwide 90 FM Live and on Flow at Channel 916. Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6 o'clock. From the studios of Nationwide Radio, morning radio the right way. It's Nationwide This Morning. A very good morning to you. I'm Tawna Thomas. Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning, Tuesday, June 16, 2026. Education Ministry working to address high student absenteeism since Hurricane Melissa. Children's Advocacy Group says any social media ban must be accompanied by legislative reform. Area 3 police vow to crack down on scammers as major crimes inch up. In regional news, Antigua Prime Minister backs Sandals over water bungalows. In international news, a G7 summit opens with Iran and Ukraine wars on the agenda. In sports, France and Argentina among teams set to open their group games on day 6 of the FIFA 2026 World Cup. And in business, SpaceX IPO raised $10 billion more than previously thought. The details after the break.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10 or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales for a better choice in the electrical business.
Catch the first news of the day. A comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. The Education Ministry has been working to address student absenteeism in the parishes greatly affected by Hurricane Melissa. That's according to Regional Director for Region 5 in the Ministry of Education, Susan Nelson Smith. She's reacting to news that roughly half of the grade 11 cohort at Magotty High School in St. Elizabeth have not returned to school since the hurricane. Mahira Stewart reports.
Magotty High School is located near Black River, the capital of St. Elizabeth, one of the 5 parishes worst hit by Category 5 Hurricane Melissa last October. Principal Sean Graham told Nationwide News on Monday that almost half of the approximately 250 students in grade 11 at Magotty have not returned to school since the passage of the hurricane. He adds that the problem isn't unique to Magotty. According to him, other schools in close proximity to Magotty have been facing a similar problem of elevated truancy since Melissa struck. Graham is urging the government to do more to ensure students return to the classroom.
We send our counselors out daily especially after the hurricane. The most that our councillors can do is, one, to find the students and to encourage them and their parents to return. But we are not empowered by law to do anything apart from encouraging. But I think that the state need to take a greater look, whether through legislation or enforcement or just getting the correct people to position themselves to ensure that the students are in school. By law, students under a certain age should be in school, but if it's not enforced, then there's nothing that the school can do. And schools especially, I know, are facing similar things. We have Roger Clark, Sydney Pagan, and Lacovia as schools within close proximity to Magadan. And I know in our meetings and interactions, the high schools face this challenge.
Regional Director for Region 5 in the Ministry of Education, Susan Nelson Smith, acknowledges that truancy is a cause for concern for the ministry, but she notes that the ministry is actively working to find these absent students.
Student absenteeism has been a major concern of our principals and our guidance counselors. Fact is, the principal may have given that figure based on the students that he is not seeing at school on a regular basis. As a ministry, we have been doing the best that we can. We work closely with the schools. We have what is known as a Child Find Initiative, where we go in the community to actually go to the homes to find the children, to engage the parents, and to find out what exactly is preventing the parents from sending out the children. The problem, though, is when we go to some of these communities, we cannot find the parents, we cannot find the children. When we call them, numbers are no longer in service.
Mrs. Nelson Smith adds that there's no need for alarm as the schools are managing the situation.
So I don't want it to be said that it is an alarming situation. Based on our data, it is not an alarming situation anymore. It exists, but I see where over time our schools have been successful in finding their children. This situation is being managed at the school level. As I said, we have an active database that the guidance counselors share with the regional team so that we have that information. Once contact is made with parents and the reintegration process takes place, we are updated on that.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Protecting children online will take more than just a ban. That's the reaction of the Fui Children Foundation, FWCF, to the Ministry of Health and Wellness's plan to develop a policy framework to govern the use of social media by children and adolescents. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton announced the plan during his contribution to the sectoral debate in May. He says the ministry is working on a national survey that will inform the government's position on the proposed restrictions. According to Dr. Tufton, an overuse of social media by teens can have a negative impact on their learning and development.
What we're doing now, we're completing a national survey. I just saw some preliminary results last week, but they're completing the tabulation to gauge public perception and kind of awareness, knowledge around social media, access, impact, particularly on children under 16. Intention is to use that data to develop a position, which we've started to develop that position, hopefully to have a conversation at the level of cabinet and then the parliament.
Dr. Christopher Tufton, Health and Wellness Minister. But Fui Children Foundation says while the ban proposed is aimed at protecting children, it will not adequately safeguard children in the digital age. The group is calling for a legislative reform, including amendments to the Child Care and Protection Act, to explicitly address online harms facing children. The FWCF is also urging the government to look into policies that balance child protection with children's rights. The foundation believes that every child deserves a safer internet, one built for children, not merely one that excludes them. The Area 5 police are reporting fewer murders so far this year, contributing to the overall reduction across the island. That's according to the latest crime update from the JCF. It says 5 murders were recorded in the St. Andrew North Division between January 1 and June 13. That's 12 fewer than the 17 recorded during last year's corresponding period. For the same period, St. Catherine North recorded 17 murders, 6 fewer than the 23 recorded in 2025. Similarly, St. Catherine South recorded 12 homicides up to June 13. That's 18 fewer than the 30 homicides recorded in the similar period last year. The St. Thomas Police Division recorded 7 murders, 2 fewer than last year's review period. The JCF says 251 homicides have been recorded across the island up to June 13. That's 60 fewer than the 311 recorded over the 2025 corresponding period. It also represents a 19% reduction. The JCF says other major crimes are also maintaining the downward trend. Shootings are down nearly 29%, rape by 19%, robbery at 24%, and break-ins down nearly 10%. Meanwhile, the Area 5 police say interventions designed to reduce gang influence among students are yielding positive results. Head of Area 5, Assistant Commissioner Howard Chambers, says some of these strategies include the deployment of police personnel in schools.
Back then, years ago, some of these schools used to have, the mini gang version of the bigger gang. And that is why we have looked at it and come up with some strategies years back. And these strategies are working now. We ensure that we have SROs in all of these main schools, and we also, the divisions of Area 5 work also with the Dean of Discipline, and most of the divisions of Area 5 are what we call cadet unit. So we have been employing quite a number of strategies. We ensure that we keep in touch with the Dean of Disciplines, no quarter pass without a form of meetings, the Dean of Discipline and the principal and the administrator.
Area 5 comprises the St. Andrew North, St. Catherine North, St. Catherine South, and St. Thomas Police Divisions. ACP Chambers says some of these school programs have inspired students to pursue careers in policing.
Cadet unit is really based on reference from the deans of discipline and also other teachers and the parents. These persons are shown a different side of life where they can improve in their subject area, improve on their discipline. And you St. Catherine North and St. Catherine South, they have success story because eventually from these cadet units, some of the persons matriculate into JCF.
ACP Howard Chambers, head of the Area 5 Police. He was speaking on the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF's Force for Good podcast, which airs Sundays on its YouTube channel. Commanding Officer for the Area 3 Police, Assistant Commissioner of Police Christopher Phillips, says lawmen will be cracking down on scammers who seek refuge in the areas that he oversees. ACP Phillips was speaking at the Mandeville Police Civic Committee Annual General Meeting and Top Cop Awards function on Monday in Ingleside, Manchester.
And those scammers who migrate from some other places because it was too uncomfortable for them to stay, I want Manchester citizens to join me and tell them that Manchester is going to get uncomfortable. St. Elizabeth is going to get uncomfortable for these players. Clarendon is going to get uncomfortable because we're going to focus some efforts around them. Anywhere you have these scammers, gunplay, violence, and we shan't have it anymore.
ACP Phillips credited the reduction in some crimes within the area to good preventative measures taken by both residents and law enforcement.
For the period January to June 13th, 2026, we've recorded 351 reported crimes. Now that is down from 423 in the same period in 2025. This represents a 17% reduction overall, and we welcome that. We note property volume crimes down, break-ins fell 32%. 170 to 116, larceny 34%, 47 to 31, and robbery 28%, 57 to 42. And this suggests to me that there has been some prevention impact.
ACP Christopher Phillips, commanding officer for the Area 3 Police. Meanwhile, ACP Phillips says both gun and domestic violence remain an area of concern for Area 3.
We want to prioritize gun violence response. The gun continues to be a problem, and when I deep dive into the data, I recognize that 50% of our murders this year were attributed to interpersonal conflicts, disputes, murders taking place in some places where you'd have to have the police living right there.
ACP Christopher Phillips, commanding officer for the Area 3 Police. ACP Phillips was speaking at the Mandeville Police Civic Committee annual general meeting and Top Cop Awards function on Monday in Ingleside, Manchester. Now, Jamaica's annual point-to-point inflation rate has increased by 1.5% from May 2026. That's according to data from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin. Statin says Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate between May 2025 and May 2026 was 5.4%. This remains within the Bank of Jamaica's target range of 4 to 6%. The increase was driven primarily by increases in the food and non-alcoholic beverages, restaurant and accommodation services, and transport divisions. Meanwhile, the month-to-month inflation rate for May increased by 0.7%. This was mainly influenced by a fall in the index for housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels, food and non-alcoholic beverages, restaurant, and accommodation services. Mayor of St. Anne's Bay, Michael Belnavis, says the parish of St. Anne is ready and prepared for the hurricane season currently underway. He was speaking at the Hurricane Preparedness press conference held by the Municipal Corporation on Monday.
We want to ensure the public and the residents of St. Anne that we are ready to deal with all these eventualities. It is so important for us to get these things together because it is in being prepared that we are able to execute and deal with all the issues that may arise in and around the parish. The Municipal Chamber has been designated as our primary emergency operating center, while the police headquarters has been identified as an alternative location should circumstances require it. We continue to strengthen the coordination among our response agencies and stakeholders to ensure that decision making and communication remain effective before, during, and after any emergency.
The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1 to November 30. Mayor Belnavis says drain cleaning works are being undertaken and shelters are also being upgraded. He notes that 76 shelters have been inspected and are ready in case of emergencies. Belnavis adds that the corporation is also working to increase its relief supplies.
The corporation has also taken steps to improve the availability of relief supplies. Our storage facilities are currently equipped with essential emergency items. Additional comfort items and comfort supplies are being sourced to strengthen the preparedness efforts. Infrastructure readiness remains one of our most crucial focus areas. It is very important because infrastructure, as you know, has to do with housing, where individuals live, work, and play.
Michael Belnavis, Mayor of St. Anne's Bay. Meanwhile, Disaster Coordinator for St. Anne, Alvin Clark, says a program has been implemented to better manage the use of emergency shelters across the parish during a hurricane.
Special interest is also placed on shelters, and so a special shelter management program has been designed by the Parish Disaster Committee, where we are putting in a management team to better prepare us, because we actually are looking at some of the weak points that we had in the last hurricane, and we are trying to put a management team in place so that more resources can be allocated for the response process and that we are better able to respond.
Alvin Clark, a parish disaster coordinator in St. Anne. He was also speaking at the Hurricane Preparedness press conference held by the Municipal Corporation on Monday. And that's it for the local segment of the news. Up next, regional and international.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:18.
Morning after morning, you've made Nationwide 90 FM part of your routine. So let's take this connection one step closer. Join the Nationwide 90 FM Family Club and be part of it officially on Patreon.
Family. Commercial space is for you. Parks and attractions for you. Housing and residential developments for you. Beautiful rental properties for you. improving quality of life through infrastructure development across Jamaica for you. The Urban Development Corporation, making development happen for you. Brought to you by the Urban Development Corporation.
UDC for you.
In regional and international news this morning, regional Prime Minister Gaston Brown is defending plans for a major expansion at Sandals Grand Antigua, which includes the construction of overwater bungalows. The project exceeds $100 million in investment. It's expected to add more than 100 rooms to the property, including 16 overwater units. Speaking on his weekly radio program on Saturday, Brown dismissed concerns the project would restrict access to Dickinson Bay, one of the country's most visited beaches. He argued the development is designed to increase tourism earnings while ensuring continued public access to the bay. Addressing environmental concerns, the Prime Minister said modern engineering and mitigation measures can reduce risks associated with overwater construction in hurricane-prone regions. Brown says a luxury tourism product is central to Antigua remaining globally competitive. He says the luxury units have the potential to fetch around $3,000 per night. Antigua generates roughly $2 billion a year in tourism revenue. U.S. President Donald Trump and other world leaders are in France for the three-day Group of Seven summit, where a tentative deal to end the Iran war has been a prominent topic thus far. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen met with Trump and later congratulated him on social media for striking a ceasefire with Tehran. French President Emmanuel Macron told Trump in a bilateral meeting that European forces are ready to deploy in the Strait of Hormuz. It's part of a pitch that the G7 allies are making to reopen the strait as soon as possible, so energy supplies flow freely again to world markets. The leaders have also so far been in discussions about ending Russia's war in Ukraine. According to the Associated Press, a French diplomat familiar with the summit talks said the leaders have agreed to increase pressure on Russia, including through sanctions targeting its oil and natural gas sectors. The diplomat said the leaders also agreed to provide Ukraine with additional air defense capabilities and other means of protection. And that's it for regional and international. Up next, sports.
No matter how skilled you and your car be, faster speed equals less time to respond to the unexpected. Observe the speed limit.
If you love one, get Radam. Drive good on TransJam. A message from TransJam Highways.
Enjoy peace of mind knowing that your hard-earned money is protected by the JDIC. That's right, the JDIC through the Deposit Insurance Scheme guarantees up to $1.2 million of your deposits in commercial banks, merchant banks, and building societies. This means your deposits, such as your savings and checking accounts, are covered. Rest easy, knowing that your deposits are secure. Your deposits always protected. For more information, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at JDICJAM or visit our website at www.jdic.org.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
Time now for your morning sports. Iran were forced to come from behind twice on Monday night to earn a 2-2 draw with New Zealand in their Group G World Cup encounter in California. The draw means all four teams in the group are now on a point apiece after Belgium and Egypt played out a 1-1 draw also on Monday. For only the second time in World Cup history and the first time in 68 years, all four games on the day ended in draws. One of the tournament favorites, Spain, were held goalless by Cape Verde, and Uruguay came from behind to draw 1-1 with Saudi Arabia. 4 more games are on the schedule for Tuesday's 6th day, and Nationwide 90 FM will have live coverage of all 4. We kick off our coverage at 2 p.m. with tournament favorites France against Senegal. That will be followed at 5 p.m. by Iraq against Norway. At 8 p.m., Argentina will open their title defense against Algeria. Then in our nightcap at 11 p.m., Austria takes on Jordan. President of the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association J3A's Garth Gale is anticipating a highly competitive national junior and senior championships set to get underway at the National Stadium on Thursday. The championships will run for 4 days and will feature many of the country's top athletes, including World Championship gold medalist Oblique Seville. He is among the headline acts expected to vie for national titles. Despite the absence of a major global championship this season, Gale believes the quality of competition will remain high. He noted that Jamaican athletes continue to take pride in performing at the national championships and are eager to test themselves against the country's best competitors.
The competition will be very strong. We have the main outdoor champion in Oblique Seville, and he'll be aiming to regain the title of being champion here at our national championships. On the women's side, again, the defending champion, she really doesn't want to lose her position. So majority of the events, because I've been looking at the event by list, and we are really and truly having some very strong competitors in our sprints, in the field events as well.
Garth Gale. Finally, in your morning sports, 2 Jamaicans will be in action at the 56th Ostrava Golden Spike meeting in the Czech Republic on Tuesday, the latest stop on World Athletics Continental Gold Tour. Brianna Liston makes her debut in Europe this season. She's entered for the women's 100 meters alongside former World Indoor 60-meter championships, or champion rather, Uła Swoboda of Poland. Former national record holder Brittany Anderson is on the entry list for the 100-meter hurdles. And that's it for your morning sports.
Winner, big match, bucket for the crew. Winner, big match is a big deal too. A KFC when we link up for the big match. When it's time for the big match, we grab a big deal. Big bucket time, my side on the field. It's always KFC. Oh, 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 oh.
Enjoy the biggest party in sports with KFC. Get a big deal or big bucket for the big match and cheer on your team. KFC, it's finger licking good.
In business this morning, SpaceX raised $10 billion more than initially thought when it sold shares to the public last Friday. Elon Musk's rocket and artificial intelligence company brought in a total of $85.7 billion. It pulled off the biggest initial public offering IPO in history when it joined New York's NASDAQ stock exchange. The listing had raised $75 billion from investors, which Musk told employees will be spent funding a significant growth phase. But the banks which backed the IPO exercised a so-called green shoe clause, which let them purchase an extra $10 billion of SpaceX shares. In a statement by SpaceX announcing the completion of the listing, the company said the extra $10 billion raised would by itself rank as one of the biggest IPOs in history. Now, Japan's central bank has increased its main interest rate to a new 31-year high after surging global energy prices. On Tuesday, the Bank of Japan, BOJ, raised its policy rate to 1% from 0.75%, a level not seen since 1995. The decision comes as some other central banks have raised interest rates this year as the U.S.-Israel war with Iran pushed up the cost of living. Japan's interest rates were cut aggressively in the 1990s to combat the fallout from a collapse in prices of assets like property and shares. They had been near zero for 2 decades as prices fell and growth stagnated. The bank has been gradually raising its interest rate since March 2024. Then it was the country's first hike in 17 years. The BOJ has been under pressure to cool inflation, which was extremely low in the country until relatively recently. Finally, in foreign exchange trading, the Jamaican dollar has gained 18 cents and opens against the benchmark U.S. dollar, selling for an average $159.01. Against the Canadian, the Jamaican has lost 93 cents and will open selling for an average $115.26. And against the British pound, the Jamaican will begin trading for an average $212.58. It has gained 93 cents against the British pound. That's it for business this morning.
Apply today for your JUTC sub-franchise license. Operate legally, drive proud. Call 876-469-5326 for more information.
The time by the Jamaica Urban Transit Company is
6:30.
This is Nationwide's World Cup Team Profile. Brought to you by Digicel. Powered by you, connected by us.
Tunisia. They've appeared in 6 FIFA World Cups: 1978, 98, 2002, 2006, 2018, and 2022, with a 7th appearance secured for 2026. They made history in 1978 as the first African Arab nation to win a World Cup match. They beat Mexico by 3-1. Despite those milestones, they've never advanced past the group stage and will be looking to do so in 2026. Tunisia, one of the 48 countries, will be participating at the FIFA World Cup Finals in North America, and you can follow their progress right here on Nationwide 90 FM, who will have extended live coverage of the greatest show on earth.
That was Nationwide's World Cup Team Profile. Brought to you by Digicel. Powered by you, connected by us.
This is Nationwide's FIFA World Cup Fact.
Did you know that the Prince of Kuwait once got a referee to overturn a decision at a World Cup match? Yes, that's a fact. It was a debut FIFA World Cup appearance for Kuwait in Spain in 1982. The newbies had to face France in their second match. With 50 minutes gone, France led 3-0, but Kuwait was able to pull one back with just a quarter of an hour remaining. Then, a whistle came from the stands, and the Kuwait players slowed down, thinking it was the referee's whistle. It wasn't. Play continued, France scored a fourth. The Prince of Kuwait and head of the Football Association that governs the Kuwait national team was in attendance that day, and he wasn't happy with the goal. He stepped down onto the field from the stands to protest with the referee. He threatened to pull out of the tournament altogether if the decision was not overturned. And in a shocking bit of refereeing, he got his wish.
That was Nationwide's FIFA World Cup Fact.
Enough power tool, big to small. Chakama figure dig the wall.
Up a total tools.
Weed waka figure trim the lawn. We have everything a job demand.
Total tools.
We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When I say home improvement, landscape construction, a Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option. Total Tools located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Slide Road, Kingston. And lot C6 Jacksaw, St. Anne's Bay. Call us today. Though you may not drive a great big Cadillac, against the white walls, TV antennas in the back. You may not have a car at all, but remember, brothers and sisters, you can still stand tall. Just be thankful for what you got.
A very good morning to you. Good morning to you. You're tuned in to Nationwide This Morning, NTM. Thank you so much for joining us this Tuesday morning. It is Tuesday, June 16, 2026. I'm Tawna Thomas.
I'm Sondre Roden, and it is an excited morning to be alive. You know why, Tawna?
Yes.
I'm in blue, but I'm not in my French shirt today. But of course, when I leave here, I will be decked out later today. It is the day I'd say that the Lord has made, but that's not what we're here talking about. It is the day that, of course, the French team will be on display. And I'm sure we won't be like some other teams that had to, draw. Some other teams that thought they were it, but did not show up the way they should have. Tawna, it's very shocking to see the displays so far, but man.
So our theme song for the World Cup says it starts Mandema Bala.
Yeah.
So yesterday, Nationwide was playing at a particular place, and we were going to a break. So the theme song comes up, Mandema Bala. So one person there reacted, Mandema Bala out. I was like, poor Spain.
yeah. And the expectations for Spain really high because they have so many good footballers on that Spain team. And naturally, in Spanish, they always have a good cadre of footballers. But, let's see what happens today.
Yeah.
I put my faith and trust in the French team. And,
Yeah.
There'll
be great things this afternoon, man. But it is that time of the Tuesday morning for What's on My Mind. And on my mind this morning, I want to start out listeners and viewers on our YouTube channel by sharing some data with you. I went on a hunt yesterday for data in relation to homicide numbers across all 19 police divisions in Jamaica. So this morning, I first want to share the data I've gathered. I'm going in a particular direction with my What's on My Mind in relation to this data. So I'll share the data, and then I'll tell you my thoughts on the data that I have gathered. All right. So as I said, there are 19 police divisions in Jamaica. I heard the commanding officer for Area 3 includes St. Elizabeth, Manchester, and Clarendon, not long ago in our newscast, ACP Christopher Phillips, and he was pointing to the data across Area 3, and he was mentioning that from January 1 to June 13, 351 crimes have been recorded in the parish, and that this represents a 17% reduction because this time last year, the number was at 423. But he also indicated that the police they're still having concerns with gun and domestic violence. And then he singled out that 50% of the homicides committed in those 3 policing divisions so far this year are related to or connected to or stemmed from interpersonal disputes. And then he said, we can't live in the houses of some of these persons to respond to some of these crimes covered under this area where 50% of the homicides are related to interpersonal disputes. And that is exactly where I did my deep diving yesterday in relation to interpersonal conflicts or disputes to figure out and find out from these police divisions if it is that they are having a significant issue in relation to interpersonal disputes leading to homicides. And here's what I found. In St. James, The commanding officer there is Superintendent Aaron Samuels. Presently in that division, the homicide number stands at 34 in comparison to 23 last year. A breakdown of the figures: 12 of the homicides stemmed from interpersonal conflict, 11 gang-related, 9 criminal, and 2 not yet determined. So, 35% of all murders committed since the start of the year in St. James have stemmed from interpersonal conflict, and it's the number one category of homicides in St. James. The police pointing out there that they're seeing a sharp increase in interpersonal conflicts in St. James, and some of the gang-related ones are actually interpersonal, because it is my understanding that relatives are gang members, or they utilize gang members to commit the crimes, and then they're listed as a gang crime, but they could actually also fall into the category of interpersonal. And a lot of these, I've found out, have stemmed from disputes around land. Disputes around land. Then we move on from St. James to St. Mary. The commanding officer there is Superintendent Anthony Wallace. Murders committed between January 1 and June 13, 5 in comparison to 13 last year. 60% of the homicides there so far this year are related to or stem from argument or interpersonal conflicts, also making it the number one category of homicides in that division. There's also St. Anne. The commanding officer, Superintendent Carlos Russell. Murders committed between January 1 and June 13 in that division, 17 in comparison to 22 last year. A breakdown: 6 stemmed from arguments or conflicts, 2 was revenge or reprisal, 1 was contract, 2 robbery, 2 firearm, and 4 not yet established. So 35% of murders are interpersonal or stem from interpersonal conflict, and that is also the number one category of homicides in St. Anne. We move on to my parish, St. Elizabeth. The commanding officer there in St. Elizabeth is Superintendent Coleridge Minto. Murders committed between January 1 and June 13, 15 in comparison to 6 last year. 60% of all murders committed since the start of the year in St. Elizabeth have stemmed from what again? Interpersonal conflict, making it the number one category of homicides in the parish. And the latest case, as you heard here on Nationwide, on the weekend, a brother, 19 years old, attacked his family, chopped his brother to death. The deceased is 23-year-old Travis Williams, wounded his younger brother, only 14 years old, and also chopped his mother, who is in hospital, and she's 43 years old. Manchester, the outgoing commanding officer there, Superintendent Kerry Duncan. Murders committed between January 1 and June 13, 17 in comparison to 9 last year. While I don't have the latest figures, he recently pointed out that interpersonal conflicts as well as lottery scamming accounts for the majority of murders committed across Manchester. So interpersonal conflicts, again, a major contributor to the homicide numbers in that parish. Clarendon, commanding officer, Superintendent Shane McCullough. Murders committed between January 1 and June 13, 19 in comparison to 18 for the same period last year. And the last update we got was on April 13. I tried to get the superintendent yesterday, but I was unsuccessful. But I was able to dig up some data, and the latest data I got in relation to where my mind is at, last April 13, not last April, this April 13, murders at that time, 13, and at that time, the police there, they were saying 9 were linked to domestic violence. Inspector Graham Evangelist out of Clarendon, he revealed that many of the cases stem from conflicts between intimate partners. He said one of the 13 murders was gang-related, while the other 3 had not yet been established. So in April, in Clarendon, interpersonal conflicts was the number one category of homicides in that parish. If we move on to Area 4 and we go to St. Andrews Central, commanding officer there in St. Andrews Central, Superintendent Mark Harris. Murders committed between January 1 and June 13, 19 in comparison to 17 last year. 44% of all murders committed since the start of the year in St. Andrews Central have stemmed from interpersonal conflict, a significant contributor again to the murder stats there. Kingston Central, commanding officer, Superintendent Mishka Forbes. Murders committed between January 1 and June 13, 5 in comparison to 9 at the same time last year. 3 or 60% of all the murders committed since the start of the year have again stemmed from interpersonal conflict. It's the #1 category of homicides in Kingston Central. Let's move on. Which other division did I find out this very statistic for? St. Catherine North. The commanding officer there, Superintendent Hopton Nicholson, murders between January 1 and June 13 this year, 17 in comparison to 23 last year. 4 domestic, 0 for mob killing, but gang-related had 8. Criminal, but not gang-related and associated with other crimes, 2. Situational, 0. Not yet established, 3. Reprisal, 0. 23% of homicides stemmed from interpersonal conflict or domestic related. That's the #2 category of homicides recorded in St. Catherine North. And if we move on to St. Thomas, this is the final one for my statistics. The commanding officer for St. Catherine South, the commanding officer here, no, this is St. Thomas, the commanding officer Superintendent Rowan Ritchie, murders committed between January 1 and June 13, 7 in comparison to 9 last year. Of the 7, 4 or 57% stemmed from interpersonal conflicts. Now you see where I'm heading with this. I think this context matters, listeners and YouTubers, because sometimes, Sandre, we just get a hard number from the police divisions, and the hard statistic leads one to believe right off the bat that gunmen are wreaking havoc on particular divisions when you hear an uptick in homicides in those policing areas. But a breakdown of the figures in this way gives you another look into what the police are up against or dealing with in these divisions. In just over half of the 19 police divisions I've mentioned this morning, interpersonal conflict homicides stands as the #1 or #2 category or types of murders being recorded in these divisions. Jamaicans are having conflicts over all kinds of things, including land disputes, as is the case in St. James, and are turning on each other, and these interpersonal conflicts are ending up in fatalities. It just kind of shows that in a lot of instances, commanding officers and their personnel are up against something that isn't fully in their control. Man turns a machete on his entire family in the middle of the night. How do you police that? Family members are war over land. Fight kick off and somebody gets killed. Lawmen and women, unfortunately, can't see in the future to prepare themselves to get to a location before one chops, stabs, or shoots another. And that's the unfortunate reality. Their human capacity only allows them to respond during the feud where they may be able to intervene. For example, if somebody calls you to say 2 people are fighting and they're able to get to the location and quell things. Or on the really bad end, they're responding to a crime scene when the act has already happened and somebody is dead. I say all of that to say that sometimes when we hear these broad homicide numbers, 20 killed in a division so far this year in comparison to perhaps 6 last year, while it's quite natural to react and say, oh my God, things are get out of hand in that division or this other division, I always pause to and ask what happened and who is at fault here. Because plenty times lawmen and lawwomen get blamed for not fighting crime, but this data breakdown is showing that in many instances, the very people living in these communities across these divisions are the ones driving up the crime out of hand perception because they fail to resolve their issues in a civil manner, in a civil way. So another one ends up dead, and another one, and another one, and another one, and the homicide numbers shot up. How are we to place that singularly at the feet of the police? Fighting and policing gangs is one thing in Jamaica. Policing families, friends, and associates in disputes is a whole other kettle of fish. Importantly, the men and women of the JCF are creatures of information, listeners, and intelligence. That's what they act on. If they don't know, they can't act. And interpersonal issues, arguments, disputes takes saying something. If you really want meaningful intervention that doesn't end up in death or maiming. Many of these divisions have domestic violence centers that also double up and function as interpersonal conflict resolution centers. Make use of them. St. James doesn't have one. The powers that be listening to me this morning should look into that, especially since it's emerging that the parish is facing that particular challenge. Can resources be directed to those divisions recording these spikes? Intensifying your public education on deadlift and basic conflict resolution skills and aid is needed. Finally, I'm up on the clock. I see it, Damian. I think the JCF should revamp, Sandre, how it communicates major crime stats. It may take a bit more effort, so I'd suggest that the force keeps the current major crimes template that I believe they update almost daily, but create an end-of-month template, division by division, that gives the hard number homicide, but also a breakdown of the homicide categories. For example, Manchester random number has 5 murders. You give a breakdown: 2 were gang, 2 were interpersonal, 1 was contract. I think it sets a better context and better informs Jamaicans about what the men and women are dealing with division by division. And that's what's on my mind.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is...
It's 6:50.
JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union offers financial solutions for every stage in your life: savings, auto loans, mortgages, and more. The temperature by JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union, your financial partner for life, is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston City, 27 degrees Celsius out west in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
This station raised me. It gave me a voice. And if Nationwide has ever meant something to you, come on in. Join the Nationwide 90 FM Family Club today on Patreon.
This is Nationwide's World Cup Team Profile. Brought to you by the UDC, making development happen.
Ghana, the Black Stars, have appeared in the finals of the FIFA World Cup on 4 previous occasions: 2006, 2010, where they reached the quarterfinals, 2014, and 2022. They will make a 5th appearance of the upcoming tournament in 2026 and will represent one of Africa's best hopes. Ghana, the Black Stars, one of 48 countries, will be participating at the FIFA World Cup, and you can follow their progress right here on Nationwide 90 FM, who will have live and extended coverage of the greatest show on earth.
That was Nationwide's World Cup Team Profile. Brought to you by the UDC, making development happen.
From the farmers in the fields, to the bakers who prepare it, to the teams that deliver every day, Juicy is built by Jamaicans. To our partners, thank you for standing with us. Juicy Patties, serious Jamaican food.
This is Nationwide's World Cup Player Profile, brought to you by Century 21 for everything real estate.
Argentine great Lionel Messi heads to the 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup with ambitions of retaining the trophy he won in Qatar 2022. Messi, regarded as one of the modern-day greats, for some, even the greatest, and will separate himself from another Argentine icon, Diego Maradona, by winning back-to-back World Cups, putting La Albiceleste alongside Italy and Brazil as countries to retain the trophy. Since Qatar, Messi has moved to USA with Inter Miami, where he won the MLS Cup last season. The 38-year-old is looking to get back to his best, despite currently nursing muscle fatigue in his left hamstring.
That was Nationwide's World Cup Player Profile, brought to you by Century 21 for everything real estate.
When you hear those horns, you know what time it is. It's time for Street Smart with Ludlow McLean. Good morning to you, Ludlow.
Good morning, very, very good morning, Sandre. Very good morning, Donna.
Hey to you, Ludlow.
All right, and the listeners and everyone tuned in at this tap point in time, our fans and our transport operators, is a bright and sunny morning. Yes, clouds of all description, cirrus cloud, cumulus clouds, no, really nimbus clouds, and a few. It's not cumulus means that it's really dark, but it's quite bright and sunny, warm at the moment. No, the roadways are busy, but nothing to be alarmed about. Mountain View coming up is not too bad, but the lights by Mountain View, Old Hope Road, and Seaview Avenue is out of commission. This is a very important intersection. So I want that one to be the relevant authorities, Mountain View, Seaview Avenue, and Old Hope Road. It's not working. It's our first report for the morning. It's back to you, Sanjay.
All right, thank you, Ludlow. It's now time for a word of the day.
Word of the day, spelled N-O-N-A-G-E, spelled N-O-N-A-G-E.
Nonage. Nonage. Nonage.
Nonage is your word of the day. It's a noun meaning the period of legal minority or of an age below 21. Any period of immaturity. Nonage is your word of the day. First recorded in... does dictionary.com have that? Yes, it does. Between 1350 and 1400, to use nonage in a sentence. Because of his nonage, he was not legally permitted to sign the contract without parental consent. Nonage is your word of the day. Up next are features at the top of the hour, the news.
Pumpkin seeds, small but mighty superfoods. Pumpkin seeds might be tiny, but they are packed with essential nutrients. Just a small serving provides a rich source of healthy fats, magnesium, and zinc, key nutrients for overall health. On Food for Thought today, we're exploring the incredible benefits of adding pumpkin seeds to your diet. Pumpkin seeds have been used in folk medicine since the ancient Oaxaca, highlands of Mexico, credited with treating ailments from urinary tract infections to high blood pressure, kidney stones, and even intestinal worms. But what does modern science say? It's an anti-inflammatory power. Loaded with antioxidants, pumpkin seeds help combat inflammation, which is linked to chronic conditions like type 2 diabetes and heart disease. Keeping the hulls on acids adds fiber, making them a powerhouse snack for gut and heart health. Studies suggest pumpkin seeds may inhibit the growth of breast and prostate cancer cells, potentially even triggering cancer cell death. While researchers are still investigating the exact mechanisms, their high antioxidant content appears to play a key role. Having trouble sleeping? A handful of pumpkin seeds before bed might be the natural remedy you need. Packed with tryptophan, magnesium, zinc, and selenium, they help reduce stress and anxiety while promoting deep, restful sleep. In a study on mice, those treated with chemotherapy regained sperm production after consumption with pumpkin seed extracts. Researchers believe the antioxidants in these seeds help counteract reproductive damage. While human studies are ongoing, the findings are promising. With magnesium to regulate blood pressure and antioxidants that support nitric oxide production, essential for healthy blood vessels, pumpkin seeds promote better circulation and reduce the risk of strokes, making them a true heart health MVP. Pumpkin flowers are an underrated nutritional powerhouse. They're cholesterol-free, sugar-free, and low in saturated fat and sodium, yet rich in essential vitamins and minerals, including calcium, iron, magnesium, vitamin A, vitamin C, and folate, making them a great addition to a pregnancy diet. Meanwhile, pumpkin leaves contain manganese, which helps manage headaches, mood swings, and depression. They also provide vitamin D, calcium, and phosphorus, essential for strong teeth and gums. So, the next time you carve a pumpkin or make a hearty soup, don't lose those seeds. Roast them for a crunchy snack, sprinkle them on salads, or blend them into pesto. Pumpkins aren't just for decorations, they're a nutritional goldmine. That's it for Food for Thought. Until next time.
Fearless and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.
Certain values, attitudes, and even some man-made things can often be described as being classic. They remain relevant, influential, and popular over a long period, often remaining in existence long after other trends fade away and fade out of existence. This is Lifestyle Pages on how confidence is achieved. Every one of us has basic needs that prove we belong to the human race. These are to have shelter from the natural elements of cold, rain, and heat, to have food when hungry, and to be safe from harm. The need to share with others. To be part of a group is a strong human need. The need to achieve and to acquire positions is present in most of us, as is the need to have others recognize our achievements. These needs must be met if we are to be happy and confident in our work, home, and social environment. I'm Valerie, and those were Lifestyle Pages.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
Distracted driving costs lives. Keep your eyes on the road and arrive alive. The time brought to you by the Jamaica Information Service is...
News time, 7 o'clock.
The most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news at 7 for this morning, Tuesday, June 16, 2026. Education Ministry working to address high student absenteeism since Hurricane Melissa. Children's Advocacy Group says any social media ban must be accompanied by legislative reform. Area 3 police vow to crack down on scammers as major crimes inch up. And in international news, G7 summit opens with Iran and Ukraine wars on the agenda. The details after the break.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. The Education Ministry has been working to address student absenteeism in the parishes greatly affected by Hurricane Melissa. That's according to Regional Director for Region 5 in the Ministry of Education, Susan Nelson-Smith. She's reacting to news that roughly half of the grade 11 cohort at Magadi High School in St. Elizabeth have not returned to school since the hurricane. Mahiri Stewart reports.
Magadi High School is located near Black River, the capital of St. Elizabeth, one of the 5 parishes worst hit by Category 5 Hurricane Melissa last October. Principal Sean Graham told Nationwide News on Monday that almost half of the approximately 250 students in grade 11 at Magadi have not returned to school since the passage of the hurricane. He adds that the problem isn't unique to Magadi. According to him, other schools in close proximity to Magadi have been facing a similar problem of elevated truancy since Melissa struck. Graham is urging the government to do more to ensure students return to the classroom.
We send our counselors out daily, especially after the hurricane. The most that our counselors can do is, one, to find the students and to encourage them and their parents to return. But we are not empowered by law to do anything apart from encouraging. But I think that the state needs to take a greater look, whether through legislation or enforcement or just getting the correct people to position themselves to ensure that the students are in school. By law, students under a certain age should be in school, but if it's not enforced, then there's nothing that the school can do. And schools especially, I know, are facing similar things. We have Roger Clark, Sydney Pagan, and Lakovia as schools within close proximity to Magadi. And I know in our meetings and interactions, the high schools face this challenge.
Regional Director for Region 5 in the Ministry of Education, Susan Nelson-Smith, acknowledges that truancy is a cause for concern for the ministry, but she notes that the ministry is actively working to find these absent students.
Student absenteeism has been a major concern of our principals and our guidance counselors. Fact is, the principal may have given that figure based on the students that he is not seeing at school on a regular basis. The ministry, we have been doing the best that we can. We work closely with the schools. We have what is known as a Child Find Initiative, where we go in the community to actually go to the homes to find the children, to engage the parents, and to find out what exactly is preventing the parents from sending out the children. The problem, though, is when we go to some of these communities, we cannot find the parents, we cannot find the children. When we call them, numbers are no longer in service.
Mrs. Nelson Smith adds that there's no need for alarm as the schools are managing the situation.
So I don't want it to be said that it is an alarming situation. Based on our data, it is not an alarming situation anymore. It exists, but I see where over time our schools have been successful in finding their children. This situation is being managed at the school level. As I said, we have an active database that the guidance counselors share with the regional team so that we have that information. Once contact is made with parents and the reintegration process takes place, we are updated on that.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Protecting children online will take more than just a ban. That's the reaction of the Fui Children Foundation, FWCF, to the Ministry of Health and Wellness's plan to develop a policy framework to govern the use of social media by children and adolescents. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton announced the plan during a contribution to the sectoral debate in May. He says the ministry is working on a national survey that will inform the government's position on the proposed restrictions. According to Dr. Tufton, an overuse of social media by teens can have a negative impact on their learning and development.
What we're doing now, we're completing a national survey. I just saw some preliminary results last week, but they're completing the tabulation to gauge public perception and kind of awareness, knowledge around social media, access, impact, particularly on children under 16. Intention is to use that data to develop a position, which we've started to develop that position, hopefully to have a conversation at the level of cabinet and then the parliament.
Dr. Christopher Tufton, Health and Wellness Minister. But Fui Children Foundation says while the ban proposed is aimed at protecting children, it will not adequately safeguard children in the digital age. The group is calling for legislative reform, including amendments to the Child Care and Protection Act, to explicitly address online harms facing children. The FWCF is also urging the government to look into policies that balance child protection with children's rights. The foundation believes that every child deserves a safer internet, one built for children, not merely one that excludes them. The Area 5 police are reporting fewer murders so far this year, contributing to the overall reduction across the island. That's according to the latest crime update from the JCF. It says 5 murders were recorded in the St. Andrew North Division between January 1 and June 13. That's 12 fewer than the 17 recorded during last year's corresponding period. For the same period, St. Catherine North recorded 17 murders, 6 fewer than the 23 recorded in 2025. Similarly, St. Catherine South recorded 12 homicides up to June 13. That's 18 fewer than the 30 homicides recorded in the similar period last year. St. Thomas, that police division recorded 7 murders, 2 fewer than last year's review period. The JCF says 251 homicides have been recorded across the island up to June 13. That's 60 fewer than the 311 recorded over the 2025 corresponding period. It also represents a 19% reduction. The JCF says other major crimes are also maintaining the downward trend. Shootings are down nearly 29%, rape by 19%, robbery at 24%, and break-ins down nearly 10%. Meanwhile, the Area 5 police say interventions designed to reduce gang influence among students are yielding positive results. Head of Area 5, Assistant Commissioner Howard Chambers, says some of these strategies include the deployment of police personnel in schools.
Back then, years ago, some of these schools used to have, the mini gang version of the bigger gang. And that is why we have looked at it and come up with some strategies years back. And these strategies are working now. We ensure that we have SROs in all of these main schools, and we also, the divisions of Area 5 work also with the Dean of Discipline, and most of the divisions of Area 5 are what we call cadet unit. So we have been employing quite a number of strategies. We ensure that we keep in top with the Dean of Disciplines, no quarter pass without a formal meetings, the Dean of Discipline and the principal and the administrator.
Area 5 comprises the St. Andrew North, St. Catherine North, St. Catherine South, and St. Thomas Police Divisions. ACP Chambers says some of these school programs have inspired students to pursue careers in policing.
Cadet unit is really based on reference from the deans of discipline and also other teachers and the parents. These persons are shown a different side of life where they can improve in their subject area, improve on their discipline. And you St. Catherine North and St. Catherine South, they have success story because eventually from these cadet units, some of the persons matriculate into JCF.
ACP Howard Chambers, head of the Area 5 Division. He was speaking on the Jamaica Constabulary Force's Force for Good podcast, which airs Sundays on its YouTube channel. Now, Commanding Officer for the Area 3 Police, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Christopher Phillips, says lawmen will be cracking down on scammers who seek refuge in the parishes. ACP Phillips was speaking at the Mandeville Police Civic Committee Annual General Meeting and the Top Cop Awards function on Monday in Ingleside, Manchester.
And those scammers who migrate from some other places because it was too uncomfortable for them to stay, I want Manchester citizens to join me and tell them that Manchester is going to get uncomfortable. St. Elizabeth is going to get uncomfortable for these players. Clarendon is going to get uncomfortable because we're going to focus some efforts around them. Anywhere you have these scammers, gunplay, violence, and we shan't have it anymore.
ACP Phillips credited the reduction in some crimes within the area to good preventative measures taken by both residents and law enforcement.
For the period January to June 13, 2026, we have recorded 351 reported crimes. Now that is down from 423 in the same period in 2025. This represents a 17% reduction overall, and we welcome that. We note property volume crimes down, break-ins fell 32%, 170 to 116, larceny 34%, 47 to 31, and robbery 28%, 57 to 42. And this suggests to me that there has been some prevention impact.
ACP Christopher Phillips, Commanding Officer for the Area 3 Police. Meanwhile, ACP Phillips says both gun and domestic violence remain an area of concern for Area 3.
We want to prioritize gun violence response. The gun continues to be a problem, and when I deep dive into the data, I recognize that 50% of our murders this year were attributed to interpersonal conflicts, disputes, murders taking place in some places where you'd have to have the police living right there.
ACP Christopher Phillips, Commanding Officer for the Area 3 Police. ACP Phillips was speaking at the Mandeville Police Civic Committee Annual General Meeting and Top Cop Awards function on Monday in Ingleside, Manchester. Jamaica's annual point-to-point inflation rate has increased by 1.5% from May 2026. That's according to data from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin. Statin says Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate between May 2025 and May 2026 was 5.4%. This remains within the Bank of Jamaica's target range of 4 to 6%. The increase was driven primarily by increases in the food and non-alcoholic beverages restaurant and accommodation services, and transport divisions. Meanwhile, the month-to-month inflation rate for May increased by 0.7%. This was mainly influenced by a fall in the index for housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuels, food and non-alcoholic beverages, restaurant and accommodation services. Mayor of St. Anne's Bay, Michael Belnavis, says the parish of St. Anne is ready and prepared for the hurricane season currently underway. He was speaking at the Hurricane Preparedness Press Conference held by the Municipal Corporation on Monday.
We want to ensure the public and the residents of St. Anne that we are ready to deal with all these eventualities. It is so important for us to get these things together because it is being prepared that we are able to execute and deal with all the issues that may arise in and around the parish. The Municipal Chamber has been designated as our primary emergency operating center, while the police headquarters has been identified as an alternative location should circumstances require it. We continue to strengthen the coordination among our response agencies and stakeholders to ensure that decision making and communication remain effective before, during, and after any emergency.
The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1 to November 30. Mayor Belnavis says drain cleaning works are being undertaken and shelters are also being upgraded. He notes that 76 shelters have been inspected and are ready in case of emergencies. Belnavis adds that the corporation is also working to increase its relief supplies.
The corporation has also taken steps to improve the availability of relief supplies. Our storage facilities are currently equipped with essential emergency items. Additional comfort items and comfort supplies are being sourced to strengthen the preparedness efforts. Infrastructure readiness remains one of our most crucial focus areas. It is very important because infrastructure, as you know, has to do with housing, where individuals live, work, and play.
Michael Belnavis, Mayor of St. Anne's Bay. And in international news, U.S. President Donald Trump and other world leaders are in France for the three-day Group of Seven summit, where a tentative deal to end the Iran war has been a prominent topic thus far. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen met with Trump and later congratulated him on social media for striking a ceasefire with Tehran. French President Emmanuel Macron told Trump in a bilateral meeting that European forces are ready to deploy in the Strait of Hormuz. It's part of a pitch that the G7 allies are making to reopen the strait as soon as possible, so energy supplies flow freely again to world markets. The leaders have also so far been in discussions about ending Russia's war in Ukraine. According to the Associated Press, a French diplomat familiar with the summit said the leaders have agreed to increase pressure on Russia, including through sanctions targeting its oil and natural gas sectors. The diplomat said the leaders also agreed to provide Ukraine with additional air defense capabilities and other means of protection. And that's it for the news at 7.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
7:17.
Rent or buy your hurricane supplies from Total Tools. Visit 102 Main Street, Outaris, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston 5, or Lot C6, Drax Hall, St. Anne's Bay. The temperature brought to you by Total Tools Jamaica is
29 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 27 out west in Montego Bay, in Mandeville, 24 degrees Celsius.
This is Nationwide's World Cup Team Profile. Brought to you by Digicel. Powered by you, connected by us.
Morocco, the current African champions. They have a distinguished FIFA World Cup history, highlighted by their historic 2022 run in Qatar, where they reached the semi-finals of the tournament, becoming the first African and Arab nation so to do. With 7 appearances under their belt, 1970 to 2026, they have a legacy of being the first African team to win a group, 1986, and will co-host the 2023 World Cup. Morocco, One of the 48 teams will be participating at the FIFA World Cup finals, and you can follow their progress right here on Nationwide 90 FM, who will have extended live coverage of the greatest show on earth.
That was Nationwide's World Cup Team Profile. Brought to you by Digicel. Powered by you, connected by us.
Paging Ludlow, trying to make contact with Ludlow for that second report of Street Smart with Ludlow McLean. 7:20 at this hour. It is still considered peak hour, right? So folks are heading out for work and the students are heading out for school. We are showing you some live shots on our YouTube channel, NNN Radio Live. Where is this, Damon? Which location is this? It's kind of looked like Barbican, right? So this is Barbican. Traffic moving smoothly. So taxi operators are out and ordinary folks making their way to work, going out early to get what they need to get done and head back home. Can we have a live shot of Half a Tree as well as Crossroads or downtown? Let's see what those town centers are looking like at this hour. So this is Barbican for YouTubers. Barbican, things are moving smoothly here. I must say as well to the folks over there at the NWA that the traffic lights, Industrial Terrace on Marcus Garvey, not working. That's out. So just putting out that word to the NWA so you guys can respond to that one. And this is Halfway Tree, folks out too. Oh, there goes a school bus. I never get tired of seeing those. So traffic moving smoothly there. That should be the case as well across the rest of the country. It's normally here in the city and the other congested metropolitan areas that you find standstills. So Damon is trying to load up downtown for us as well. Trying to load up and see what's happening in our neck of the woods. My neck of the woods used to be this one, Half a Tree, but now it's downtown. So let's see what's happening in the downtown area. Depending on the shot we get, we should see a lot of activity happening in the Market District. So, and you're seeing there one of the hot spots there in Halfway Tree, you know, right by the JN Bank where, man, there a lot of jaywalking takes place here. Folks just tend to step out into the incoming traffic or oncoming traffic. But in the shot we're seeing now, yeah, they're waiting. They're waiting. They're doing the proper. All right, so we don't have downtown, but perhaps a little later. And Linton says Mobe too. Yeah, we'll load up Mobe a little bit later for you, Linton. But that was it for Street Smart. Up next, the front page.
Front Page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
They were forced to come from behind twice on Monday night to earn a 12 draw with New Zealand in their Group G World Cup encounter in California. The draw means all four teams in the group are now on a point apiece after Belgium and Egypt played out a 1-0 draw also on Monday. For only the second time in World Cup history and the first time in 68 years, all four games on the day ended in draws.
One of the tournament favorites, Spain, were held goalless by Cape Verde, and Uruguay came from behind to draw 1-1 with Saudi Arabia. 4 more games are on the schedule for Tuesday's 6th day, and Nationwide 90 FM will have live coverage of all 4. For analysis, we're joined by veteran coach Andrew Price and coach of Mobay United, Xavier Gilbert. Good morning to you both.
Good morning and good morning.
All right, I'm going to start with you, Andrew Price. I'm just asking you this morning, why is it you're supporting France for this World Cup?
France. Actually, my team is Brazil.
Same question to you, Mr. Gilbert. Why is it you're supporting France this morning for this World Cup?
Morning again. I'm not supporting France. I always support Brazil at the World Cup.
There is a relationship between Jamaica and Brazil that ought to be studied when it comes down to these games. But I want to get into, starting with you again, Andrew Price, the game with Iran and New Zealand and this group where the points are stacked all at one. Give us your analysis of the game based on what you saw.
It was an exciting game, when you look at the geopolitical things that surrounded the entire match, with Iran having to fly in from Mexico to play the game and fly out immediately after the game was finished, protesters outside. I think it was a rollicking game, and the supporters came out in their numbers to support both teams. And it was a really exciting match, and it was good to see the two teams going hell for leather throughout the entire game.
Your analysis, Xavier Gilbert?
I mean, I thought it was a good game. Both teams traded punch, and it was good for Iran based on their circumstances, what has been happening off the field as well as during this World Cup, how they had to get to the venue to play. And I thought they did well. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for the spectators. And I think in all, the World Cup, this is going to be one of the most exciting World Cup for me. And it's going to be very tactical. A lot of coaches are using data and the numbers. And it's a good thing that FIFA did to have so much team in this World Cup, to be honest.
All right, hold for me there, Xavier Gilbert, Andrew Price. We're going for a quick break, and then we'll be right back with you.
Jamaica live good, yeah. I make we enjoy life, while we feel safe at night. Jamaica live good.
Jamaica, stop the killing and give up the guns. Just live good now.
The time brought to you by the Ministry of National Security and Peace is...
It's 7:30.
This is Nationwide's World Cup Team Profile. Brought to you by Digicel. Powered by you, connected by us.
Tunisia. They've appeared in 6 FIFA World Cups: 1978, 98, 2002, 2006, 2018, and 2022, with a 7th appearance secured for 2026. They made history in 1978 as the first African Arab nation to win a World Cup match. They beat Mexico by 3-1. Despite those milestones, they've never advanced past the group stage and will be looking to do so in 2026. Tunisia, one of the 48 countries, will be participating at the FIFA World Cup Finals in North America, and you can follow their progress right here on Nationwide 90 FM, who will have extended live coverage of the greatest show on earth.
That was Nationwide's World Cup Team Profile. Brought to you by Digicel. Powered by you, connected by us.
As a taxi man, every mickle make a muckle. I see him way so BCIC Easy Pay stay.
Having 11 months to pay my car and home insurance, little by little, puts me at ease.
Exactly. With my type of business, I have to fret about pay a big money, yet always covered. Get as much as 11 months to pay your car and home insurance while enjoying 100% coverage with BCIC Easy Pay.
We're back with you. It's Nationwide this morning. We're discussing the World Cup and what has been happening so far in Group G. We have Andrew Price and Xavier Gilbert here with us, and I'm going to start with you, Xavier. In this group, you spoke about the 48 teams, being happy that a lot of them are now in the competition. FIFA has expanded that, and of course, a lot of teams have entered the competition. But now we're seeing something that we'd say is unprecedented. First time in 68 years, all 4 games on the day ended in draws. What does this mean for those teams moving forward in Group G?
It just means, one, coaching has gotten better, and teams are using data. You have a lot of professional leagues right across the world, and players are participating in those leagues and doing well. And then you have a lot of persons who been born in the country, come and representing the country, either their parent or when they left early at a young age, they develop their craft overseas. Also, when you look, teams are looking at 4 points can get us through the group. Even 3 might get you through. You have 8 best third, the best 8 third place will advance to the next round. So strategically, teams are positioning themselves and planning and preparing for games. And I'm sure they're targeting every single game. Okay, this is what we might have to do to get something out of the game. And that's what we're seeing on show right now.
Now, Andrew, I just made a check on the goalie for Cape Verde, his social media, his Instagram, and he knows Andre, and to you, Xavier and Andrew, he has 7.1 million followers. Now, heading into his game yesterday, he had 50,000 followers. After his performance on the field in front of that goal yesterday,
At 40.
at 40 years old,
Yeah.
Vazinha went from 50,000 followers to 7.1 million followers. And they're saying, listen, he's a moment from yesterday. He's a moment from yesterday. And I want to get your reaction to Vazinha's performance, Andrew, and to just the match of Spain versus Cape Verde yesterday. What did you make of what happened out there on the field?
It was an exciting match, and I believe that Vazinha deserved being given the man of the match. He had an excellent game. I think he kept well. He kept Cape Verde in the game for long periods. He had about 16 saves. A marauding Spain team, which was expected to run over Cape Verde, weren't able to do it. They sat behind the ball, played in a very low block, defended well, and countered on occasions and even threatened Spain. And I think that the Spain team was a bit frustrated by the defensive exploits by Cape Verde yesterday because they didn't expect them to sit that low and they expected them to actually pull them apart. But they were very disciplined, very organized in defense. They had 2 blocks of 4 very deep in their half, and they protected the goal well. And as you said, Vazinha had an excellent game by keeping that man of the match. And I believe that's the reason why it's even Stevens in the zone and all to play for. Now, it's not a bad result for all the teams because you were as you were when you started the competition. Each team now has 2 games left, and it's for them to maximize those 2 games and see how many points they can get out of those 2 games.
Xavier, going into that Spain versus Cape Verde, were you expecting this to be the outcome?
Certainly not. I didn't expect that to be the outcome. But again, as I said, teams are preparing and planning, and they're going to target some teams and prepare themselves and say, okay, I can get a point out of this game, so this is how we think we can get this point, and play accordingly. And they felt that, okay, all right, this is what we have to do against Spain, go in a low block, frustrate them as much as possible, and see if we can hit on the counter and get something. But credit must be given to them the way they approach the game, and we saw the result. They also got 1 or 2, but Spain had dominance in terms of their performance, in terms of possession, shots, etc. And credit must be given to the goalkeeper the way he kept them in the game. He made some brilliant saves yesterday, and hence, everybody was trying to find out who is this goalkeeper. So they go and do their research and start following, and that's the nature of the sport.
Yeah.
Now, hence why he has so much followers now. He is now a popular figure.
Yes.
Yeah. And 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. today, we're going to have France against Senegal. And I know that will be an exciting one. And then 5 p.m. you have Iraq against Norway. Andrew, what are your predictions for these 2, noting that eventually you'll be supporting France throughout the World Cup?
You're trying to convince me it's not working though. It's going to be a good game. The France-Senegal game. I think it's possibly the best first round game of the entire World Cup. You have 2 teams with quality players. The France team, heavy favorites coming into the World Cup with their squad that is deep with both experience and youth. And I believe they possibly have the most talented and balanced team. But Senegal is a proven quantity. As you know, controversially, they were stripped of the African Nations Cup after defeating Morocco in the finals. But they proved that they are a good team. And with people like Sadio Mane in the team, I believe it will be a very competitive game. It's a game that both teams want to win as the first game. But I believe that France will have the better of Senegal. Both teams know each other very well. There are a lot of Senegalese-born French players and a lot of players from Senegal who play in the French League One. So there's a lot of commonality and familiarity between the players, and it should be a very exciting game.
Andrew, you spoke to the pros just now. How about the cons for both teams?
Well, you know, African teams always play with a level of naivety over the last couple of World Cups where they throw caution to the wind and attack a lot. I'm looking to see if Senegal can have some defensive discipline and organization against a very rampant French team who will have those attacking players, people like Mbappe and Dowie going at them to see how best they can stand up against them and probably hit them on the counter whenever they get the opportunity. But this France team is a team laden with a lot of quality and have proven themselves, and I expect it to be a very exciting game.
Yes, indeed, France has a lot of quality. Iraq versus Norway.
Well, Norway has a good team, you know. Haaland, Odegaard, very good European team. They came through their qualification unscathed, and they look to be a team in form. Iraq, not a proven quantity, but being at the World Cup, they are there to prove themselves, and I expect Norway to easily overcome this game. But as you know, the additives is the ball is round in football. Iraq may come up with a very good defensive counter-attacking display and throw caution to the wind. But by and large, I believe Norway has enough quality where they should be able to win this game.
Xavier, similar predictions from you?
I expect tough encounter. France, it's I think it's the second time in a couple of years that France-Senegal played their opening game, and I think we know the result of the first time when they met. But I think France should get the better of Senegal, and I agree with Andrew in terms of the naivety of African and Caribbean teams at times. The second game, I think Norway should win. However, they are one of the teams who is struggling in terms of the heat. You know, the adjustment they have to be making for their training and how they train. They are struggling with the heat this time around, so I don't know if that will affect them. And if the Iranian team are watching and tracking their progress and will tap into the uncomfortableness of the Norwegians. But it's level playing field for everybody. They start at 0, and it's going to be interesting.
And then, Andrew, for Argentina versus Algeria?
Well, you know that other than Brazil, the only other team in Jamaica that is supported so much is Argentina. So I know Jamaicans are looking forward to that game with their hero, Lionel Messi, and his cohorts coming into this game against Algeria. So I know everybody will be tuned in at 8 p.m. today to see the result of that game. But definitely Argentina, defending champions, coming to the World Cup to prove a point. Messi, a part of the 40 for 40 club, I call them, people like Messi and Ronaldo. 6th World Cup, last World Cup, wants to make a great impression. And I believe he and his cast have a plan, and they should do well, especially with this game against Algeria. Algeria is a very good North African team. They did well at the African Nations Cup, but I think that Argentina just has a little bit too much quality for them to be affected by them, and they should come out comfortable winners.
Do you think, Andrew, that Messi should have just, given it up after the last? I mean, he won the last time. Why come back for a next one? And what if you lose?
Well, you know, with all players want to continue playing forever, and I believe that he still has the legs. He's playing well in the MLS, and it's just about the coach Scaloni managing the amount of minutes that he plays throughout the entire World Cup. It takes 8 games to win the World Cup, so it's about managing the workload of Messi throughout the World Cup. He doesn't have to play 90 minutes every game. He can play periodically. He can come from the bench. He can start. So it's just about having his influence out there, and his presence just lifts the entire team. And he feels that he can continue to produce, and why not? He's there playing in the 6th World Cup, and he wants to drive the defending champions back to winning the World Cup again.
And Xavier, for you, Argentina versus Algeria at 8 p.m.
I mean, I think Argentina should get the better of them. Argentina tend to start slowly in the last couple of World Cups, and then they'll pick up. And of course, with the world's best player there, Lionel Messi, that for sure will add some motivation for everyone. And hence, I think that's why he's back at another World Cup. You know, when we're gonna have discussions about the world best player, you know, or the GOAT of, you know, of the sport, his name has to be mentioned, and, you know, achievements, goals, World Cup titles, all of those things will frame the discussion. And of course for himself, you know, I mean, Adidas is his sponsor. Adidas sponsor the World Cup. It's playing in the United States where he is. What better fitting send-off for Lionel at this World Cup?
My final question before we let you guys go, Andrew Price and Xavier Gilbert, I want to ask you guys, what are your final predictions? Who do you expect? Which two teams you expect to see in the final? Starting with you, Xavier.
Tough one. I do like Brazil. I think France have a good shot of making the World Cup, and Spain for sure. Not because they didn't do so good. For me, two of the favorites to make it to the World Cup finals.
Over to you, Andrew.
I'm a little bit sentimental to Brazil as a Brazilian fan, but I am being very realistic and believe that this French team is a quality team, and defending champions Argentina look like they are on a mission. They have experience. They are a World Cup holder. They are more mature. They are more experienced, and I believe that they have what it takes, that they can go all the way. So possibly it could be a France-Argentina final again.
Thank you guys both for joining us this morning. Andrew Price, veteran coach of Mobile United, Xavier Gilbert. You guys both gave us great insights despite not yet supporting France for the World Cup. Thanks for joining us, gentlemen.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. We're going to take a break here on NTM. We'll be back with more.
Processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612 to 5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is...
It's 7:47.
Hawkeye is protecting homes, businesses, and communities with trusted security solutions. The temperature by Hawkeye, securing what matters most, is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 29 degrees Celsius out west in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in the cool hills of Mandeville.
Growing up, Sunday dinner was always family dinner.
Families are built on memories and traditions, but with a Sagicor Bank intergenerational mortgage, you can create more. Partner with any family member to purchase a home. Mummy, son, sister, cousin. Get up to 45 years to repay, solar funding, and a $2 million line of credit. Sagicor Bank's intergenerational mortgage makes home ownership easier. Visit sagicor.com to apply today. Conditions apply.
This is Nationwide's World Cup Team Profile. Brought to you by the UDC, making development happen.
Ghana, the Black Stars, have appeared in the finals of the FIFA World Cup on 4 previous occasions, 2006, 2010, where they reached the quarterfinals, 2014 and 2022. They will make a 5th appearance at the upcoming tournament in 2026 and will represent one of Africa's best hopes. Ghana, the Black Stars, one of 48 countries, will be participating at the FIFA World Cup. And you can follow their progress right here on Nationwide 90 FM, who will have live and extended coverage of the greatest show on earth.
That was Nationwide's World Cup Team Profile. Brought to you by the UDC, making development happen.
Super Center, everything for your home and more.
Bring back the fun of shopping. Discover the best finds in every aisle of amazing items. For your kitchen, your living room, your bedroom, or any room, Azan Supercenter has that perfect touch to elevate your space to the next level. Our team is ready to help you find what you are looking for you or someone else. So stop by our Crossroads store today and rediscover the fun of shopping.
Azan Supercenter, it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
We're back with It's Nationwide this morning. We're changing gears. I know you guys would want to talk about the World Cup all day, but we have another story that we're going to be looking into. Opposition Member of Parliament Fitz Jackson has been granted permission to appeal his case against Scotiabank over check fees. The Court of Appeal gave the ruling on Monday. He filed a lawsuit in 2022 following an incident in May 2019. He claimed he was compelled to pay a fee of $385 to cash a check for $2,500.
Now, the lawsuit sought that through the imposition of the fee, Scotiabank had failed to honor a negotiable instrument, thereby breaching its obligation to honor instruments without conditions. Scotiabank countered that banks have a custom and practice to charge the check encashment fee. In 2024, Supreme Court Judge Justice Brown Beckford issued summary judgment in favor of the bank. She ruled that the encashment fee was not in breach of the Bills of Exchange Act or the Banking Services Act. With Monday's ruling, Jackson will now proceed with filing an appeal of the judgment. And he joins us now. Good morning to you.
Hi, good morning. Good morning to you both, and good morning to your listeners.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide this morning. What's your reaction to you being granted permission, MP Jackson, to go ahead now to appeal what was already set down in the original ruling?
I'm delighted. I'm quite happy in the outcome of yesterday's hearing before the Court of Appeal. As you indicated in the introduction, what we sought to do is to basically set aside the denial of the judge, Ms. Brown Beckford, to deny us the right or the opportunity to appeal, ironically, our initial judgment back in 2024 when we sought summary judgment in our favor, of course, based on the facts and based on the pertinent laws regarding the encashment of checks. She not only denied us the ruling which we sought, which is a judgment in our favor, from that summary judgment application, but she in turn rewarded BNS. And that was one of the central legal points of the appeal. And it's interesting because subsequent to that ruling, many senior lawyers were shocked and surprised at that judgment, where she granted summary judgment to somebody who never applied for it, never sought it as a remedy. And moreover, in the defense by BNS, they acknowledged the breach that they made in charging the breach of the Bills of Exchange Act. And to go further, out of those submissions, they went ahead and terminated encashment fees for both non-customers and customers of BNS. And that was in their legal submission. They acknowledged the breach, and they not only returned the fee that they had charged me, which I never kept, And the judge went ahead and gave the ruling that she gave. Now, when we were to file the appeal to the judgment, there was a overrun of a couple of weeks because one of the legal consultants on the matter had some medical cases, and so the date was passed. And as I understood it, once you pass the stipulated weeks to file the appeal, you have to seek the leave of the court for extended time to make the appeal against the judgment. And it pointed out something else which was strange to me and new to me, is that in seeking the extension of time is the same judge who made the judgment that you're seeking the extension from. In this case, Judge Crescenta Brown Beckford.
Yeah.
And what she did basically is when the application was made for the extension of time to appeal her judgment, she never granted the extension to appeal her judgment, but she went further in her ruling to say that it can't succeed in any case. In other words, her judgment is, my term now, is pure, is absolutely correct, that you have no chance of success in making an appeal. So she denied us the extension of time to appeal. Hence, the matter went to the Court of Appeal.
On that point, MP Jackson, what will the Court of Appeal then have to consider, noting that based on your arguments, you're saying the judgment and even what you submitted from your lawyers, it wasn't sufficiently addressed based on the judgment handed down?
There are two options before the Court of Appeal when the matter gets to them. One is to grant the summary judgment that we sought in the first instance based on the merit of the case. And if in the wisdom and thinking of the court, enough basis is not there to grant me what I asked for in the summary judgment application, they could then require the matter to go back to the Supreme Court and be tried. Remember that a summary judgment, is a process to circumvent a full trial exercise. So on the basis of the facts, on the basis of the law, there's no need for a time-consuming and resource-consuming exercise of a trial. In much the same way that in criminal cases, they would make a no-case submission. So the civil matter is the equivalent of a no-case submission.
Beyond the legal arguments, MP Jackson, a lot of people across the nation, they'll be watching this. You've been a long advocate inside and outside of Parliament as it relates to banking fees. You've called on the Parliament floors for, persons to advocate alongside you for that. So what would success in this case look like for you?
Success would be, one, convey to every Jamaican that regardless of how powerful you think you are and how wealthy you are, you cannot use your power of societal standing, monetary strength, and circumvent the law to the disadvantage of those who don't have your power and your strength. That is one of the foremost end result of it. They breached the law. In this instance, I was not seeking the court decision on whether the fee charge was reasonable or fair. That's not the issue before the court. What is before the court is the fact that BNS, like many other banks in Jamaica, breached the law of the country to benefit themselves at the expense of everyday Jamaicans. That is what is on trial. And the matter was brought to the attention of the government. The matter was brought to the attention of the BOJ, the regulator of the banks, who licensed the banks, and the Bank of Jamaica never even sought a judicial review on the legality of it. If they were in doubt, they allowed the banks to continue these charges which I am contending is illegal up to today, in much the same way that they have done with the dormancy fee. And I recognize that the dormancy fee was and is a breach of current legislation, Section 36 of the Banking Services Act. And it is when I had threatened publicly that I was going to sue the bank for that one, that they suspended it in the first instance, and that was welcome, because within 2 weeks, all all 6 banks then suspended the dormancy fee. And they have not exercised it, as much as I'm aware, until sometime last year. They formally said that they will no longer exercise or carry out any charges for dormancy fee. But it was a breach of the law. And the next phase of this struggle is regarding the same dormancy fee, because the banks have collected billions of dollars from innocent Jamaicans in breach of the law. And the Bank of Jamaica have never come and ruled to require them to stop in the first instance. Up to today, there is no directive issued by the Bank of Jamaica that such charges constitute a breach of the law. And worse, I have reached out to the Public Defender's Office on this matter to say, look, you are there to protect the public's interest. Where a government institution, in this case the BOJ, allows a regulated entity like the banks to charge dormancy fee against everyday Jamaicans, I want you to come and cause this to cease. The Public Defender Office has refused to take on the matter. So now I have to now find a set of lawyers again, the same set or additional lawyers, to seek a remedy for that one. But that's a different battle. Mm-hmm. And that one is not being fought right now. Right now, I've gotten them to stop charging the dormancy fee, but the billions that they have collected are to go back to the account holders, that is what that it was deducted from, or, in the absence of that, go into the consolidated fund, as is the case for unclaimed funds after 15 years in the banking system, to go to the consolidated fund, that it can be used for the public good.
And
so, to answer your question, what success look for in this instance? Mm-hmm. Yes, to get a judgment to delineate the fact that the bank, and not just BNS, mm-hmm. but all other banks who have been imposing and continue to impose check encashment fees, to desist from doing that. And then the next phase of that is for those fees to be returned to the people from who they were illegally collected.
And that first phase that you're speaking of, is there a time set down as to when the matter will come before the Court of Appeal?
No, we are waiting now. We'll be getting the time from the Court of Appeal when it will air the appeal to that judgment that was made against us and in favor of BNS on November 15, 2024. So we expect to hear from them in short order, and then we will go from there. But I can assure you, my patience will not run thin.
You're in it for the long haul.
That comment you make, is a very profound one. It's not for the long haul, You cannot stop fighting against something mm-hmm. when it remains in place. Fighting against something that is evil, that is cruel, that is unkind, that is illegal. You can't stop until it is remedied. And that's what this is all about, seeking a just remedy.
Well, thank you so much for championing this one, MP Jackson. A lot of Jamaicans out there support you, and so do I.
And I do appreciate it. In fact, just before I close, it is amazing that right across the length and breadth of Jamaica, persons I have come in contact with, it is like it is their matter, because they can relate to it in such an intimate way. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So yes, the public interest aspect of it is profound.
Certainly. Fitz Jackson, MP for St. Catherine South. Thank you so much for your time this morning, MP Jackson.
All the best.
All the best to you as well. We're going to take a break here and come back with Across Jamaica.
Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Time by Grace Good Move is
4 minutes after 8.
From the mountainside to seaside, countryside to townside, inside and outside, it's across Jamaica this morning.
Taking you across Jamaica this Tuesday morning, Tuesday, June 16, 2026 in St. Andrew. Residents of several communities served by the Constant Spring Water Treatment Facility are only receiving piped water on a 12-hour regulated schedule. The National Water Commission, NWC, says the measure is in response to a technical issue at the facility, which has caused a reduction in inflows. It says it will be undertaking repairs to stem continued interruptions in service being experienced. The regulation took effect on Sunday and will be enforced until further notice. Among the areas that will receive water only at nighttime between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. are the upper sections of Constant Spring Road, Mannings Hill Road, Havendale, Patrick City, Dehaney Park, Malines Road, and surrounding areas. During the daytime between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m., the areas that will have water include Eastwood Park Road, Washington Boulevard, Lower Constant Spring Road, Cassia Park, Waltham Park Road, Chisholm Avenue, Malines Road, Halfway Tree Road, Hagley Park Road, and surrounding areas. The NWC says it will provide a restoration timeline once the extent of the requisite repairs is confirmed. It says customers requiring trucked water may request service by contacting NWC Customer Care toll-free at 888-225-5692. That's 888-225-5692. In Kingston, the Victoria Jubilee Hospital has been equipped with 13 CTG machines and a state-of-the-art ultrasound machine. The items, valued at $32 million, were handed over on Monday. The donation was through a partnership between Food for the Poor Jamaica and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. CTG machines monitor fetal heart rates and uterine contractions during pregnancy and labor. Meanwhile, ultrasound machines monitor prenatal activity and generate real-time images. State Minister and the Health Minister, Crystal Lee, says the equipment will advance early detection, enhance patient monitoring, and enable timely interventions at the institution, which serves thousands of women and newborns annually. And that's it for Across Jamaica for this Tuesday morning.
Parents, guardians, let's keep school mornings moving. The National Rural School Bus Program is now cashless, so don't forget to top up your child's student transportation card. Top up easily at any Operation Bill Express location island-wide, or simply download the Tap Jamaica app for quick and convenient top-ups. Fast, simple, secure. No cash in hand, just tap and ride. The National Rural School Bus Program, keeping our students moving every school day.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
This is Nationwide's World Cup Team Profile. Brought to you by the UDC, making development happen.
Algeria has qualified for the FIFA World Cup 5 times, 1982, 1986, 2010, 2014, and 2026. Their best performance was in 2014. They reached the round of 16. They're best known for the 1982 Gihar Non-Aggression Pact, an incident in a historic 2-1 upset of then West Germany. Algeria one of 48 countries who will be participating at the FIFA World Cup, and you can follow their progress right here on Nationwide 90 FM, who will have extended live coverage of the greatest show on earth.
That was Nationwide's World Cup Team Profile. Brought to you by the UDC, making development happen.
We're back with It's Nationwide this morning, and we're going in our chat. We're looking at what's happening over there on YouTube. Of course, for those who keep asking, it is NNN Radio Live. That is our YouTube now. I've gotten a number of messages, Tana. The messages keep on coming because
No problem.
they're not finding the YouTube. Of course,
No problem. And I say again, Sandre, or WhatsApp number 280-6629. 280-6629. You guys having a challenge? We have no problem assisting. Just send us a WhatsApp message that you need the link to NNN Radio Live, that YouTube channel, and we'll send the link to you. When we do, click subscribe, click the notification bell.
Yeah. Annie Smith is in the chat. Good morning, saying that she is not a football fan. She has no interest. She's just here touching base with her friends in the YouTube. And that's fine too. That's fine for those who are here. We're having a discussion earlier with MP from South St. Catherine, Fitzjackson, about his case in terms of bank fees, particularly check fees that were $285 to cash a $2,000 check. You know, I was thinking of it, and I was like, yeah, there is some issues there in terms of what we have as our banking structure in Jamaica, and he got leave to go to the Court of Appeal. So we're looking forward to hear what comes out of that as he continues to fight that battle. For those who are in the chat, I want to see from you squarely, not what Carrick Shan is saying about one, don't say the name of that team, never two, but it is a France chat that we strive towards, Tana. I'm not suppressing any voices in the chat, but I am open to those who are supporting France. So if you want to send in the name of the team that you're supporting, it would be really good to see who those teams are. Somebody's saying big day today. One, I don't know that blue and white flag thing going on. So so for those who don't know, it is the blue, white, and red flag that we should be seeing in the chat. So I'm trying to look in the chat to see who the supporters are.
I see Kenyatta is saying he's been sending messages to our WhatsApp number. So Kenyatta, I'm going to ask our producer to just hop into the chat or WhatsApp chat and find your messages as well. Not sure what you sent, but she'll try to find it. I saw Kurt Buchanan earlier asking, and send us another message, Kenyatta, and just put your name at the end of the message so that we know it's you. Kurt Buchanan is asking, or was asking earlier, if I'm wearing a France jersey. Not a jersey today, it's a t-shirt. So it says France, and it has the rooster. France's unofficial symbol underneath it. Yeah. So, yeah, I have on a t-shirt today, but certainly France. And I'm wearing my France armband as well.
Yeah.
I'm
just in my... I got this blue shirt from France, so I had to wear it today so that you can know that I am on the ball. I'm seeing a lot of flags coming in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of French flags coming in the chat. I see that Mary Jane is trying to say some other team, but my eyes are totally shut in terms of other flags this morning. But I won't. I see somebody saying Senegal got this Money Grant is saying we shouldn't be supporting France. All right. So what's interesting, Money Grant, is that I hear your argument, but if we look squarely at the French team, the French team, the French team is African. And that's what a lot of people have been celebrating over the past couple of years. The French team is African. The French team is literally African. And there is, when you heard an analyst this morning, there is a relationship between the French team and African teams, because a lot of Africans also do play in France. Like, they transition to play in the French league, and that's the reality of what happens when it comes on to, that connection there. So even the Senegalese team and the French team, there will be overlaps in terms of players that know each other, players that came from the same country, etc. So we'll see that. And if you look on the players, you can see that the French team has majority black players.
What do you think, Sandre, about folks who say that we shouldn't separate the football from history? Or do you think that we should separate the football from history?
I don't think it can be celebrated. I think it is
separated. Yeah.
I think it's a representation of history and progression thereof. Mm-hmm. Because, in the past, we would not see a French team that looks the way this French team looks. And it shows as well that there is that type of diversification, Tana, and that people are moving intercontinentally. Because we always talk about brain drain, etc., and all those things in terms of Jamaica, but we don't really look from global lens in terms of how people move. And it's the movement of people that also defines the world and football, because it's the movement of people that can have Raheem Sterling playing for England. Mm-hmm. It's the movement of people that can have some of these players playing for France, for example, N'Golo Kante, for example. And when you look at all these things, you see how the world has morphed and changed, and I think that correlation is good for us. But it's also good that the game brings people together other than dividing them. Yes, you'll have your separate teams, but it is the fact that these teams are brought together, commingled in such a way that you can see the world represented by 11 men on both sides.
Yeah.
And that is a spectacle in and of itself.
So, speaking of somebody that was brought into focus yesterday for the world, many of us were not familiar with him before yesterday, Sandre.
Yes.
Jose Aurora Diaz. Hope I'm pronouncing his name right. They call him Vozinha, the goalkeeper of Cape Verde.
Yeah.
Were you familiar with him before yesterday?
No.
I was not either. I saw this gentleman, I looked at him and said, him look, like somebody who in them 40s.
Yeah, he's mature.
I went to Google him
while
the game was going on and clocked his age, 40 years old. Vozinha, born June 3, 1986.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a Cape Verdean professional footballer who plays as goalkeeper for Liga Portugal 2 club Chaves and the Cape Verde national team. And there's just something about him. There was this passion in how he was doing what he needed to do in front of goal. And it was just felt at the end of it. The end of the match was so emotive. He broke down. He started crying. And I can understand that, because you finish your match against a team that you're going in thinking, hey, the superior team here. I'm just happy to be at the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of it, to have a clean sheet for the first time that your country is coming to the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
And you can see as well what the World Cup does, as you said, bringing people together, how it has put him in the living room of so many people, or front and center on the devices, cell phones and tablets and laptops of so many people. And the globe, the people around the globe responded by hopping on to where they could find him closest, which was his Instagram account, and showing him so much love. And it was just beautiful to see how so quickly his followership went from 50,000 to, at the time we were having the conversation with our sports analysts, it was at 7.1 million. And if you check his story, so many of the posts, I know him post them, it's just people showing him so much love and tagging him in their posts, saying job well done. And I'm just hoping that something can be worked out to have his mom witness him in the stadium. I know that it was reported by the international news agencies that she was having visa issues making it to the game. But I'm just hoping that one of the other 2 games that takes place, that now that he has done this and he's a spotlight figure in the World Cup, that it will bring some of those sponsors and whatnot on board to try to get his mom into a stadium for his next game, or the third, hopefully the third, to witness him play. I don't know, him hand him like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He was
he's
just
at
blocking,
7.3 million
balls.
now.
Where is he at now?
7.3 million.
7.3 million. Yeah, he was a brick in front of goal.
As a matter of fact, I saw a video where they created a video showing him standing and then the Senegalese team, getting cement and laying bricks. And then, that was just such a great representation in our day and age of just how he stood tall. And as a goalkeeper, to be able to stand up against those very, very, very talented players from Spain, that, of course, years of practice. I don't know if you've ever played football, Ton, and anybody has ever kicked a ball at you with any type of power, strength. To be able to just withstand that says a lot of heart was in it for him. And of course, we saw that in the game, and it was really heartwarming.
I felt it. Yeah. I really did feel it. And my colleagues here at work, so we took over one of the rooms here, and we're watching the game. And every time the Cape Verdean footballers kick with the ball, it was like a celebration. It was just this big moment.
Yeah.
Pure noise. Kick with that. Kick with the ball. And then every time he caught the ball on a goal attempt, pure excitement here at Nationwide.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was the same elsewhere in Jamaica too. And definitely over there in Cape Verde. And you saw the fans, because I know only Spain fans are in the stadium, but lots of Cape Verdeans are in the stadium too. And they were just having a time.
Yeah.
It ended 0-0, but listen,
that
to
was
them,
victory. That was victory.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For them, how they reacted, it was like victory, man. And certainly FIFA and the folks there for the World Cup got it right by naming him man of the match yesterday for that game against Spain. Yeah. All right, we take a break here. I see Mary Jane as we go to the break and come back with data protection saying, yes, Sandre, because it was just him against Spain. No, man, his team held up our wall. They held up the wall, man.
Yeah, that was a proper defense.
They did their thing. And Mary Jane saying, I'm a fan now. Him working on. He really did work. He worked. We take a break here, and NTM will be back with more.
Fontana Pharmacy has a wide variety of items from pharmaceuticals, household, cosmetics, toys, and more. The Temperature by Fontana Pharmacy. It's all good inside is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston City, 29 degrees Celsius out west in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
This is Nationwide's World Cup Team Profile. Brought to you by the UDC, making development happen.
Algeria has qualified for the FIFA World Cup 5 times, 1982, 1986, 2010, 2014, and 2026. Their best performance was in 2014. They reached the round of 16. They're best known for the 1982 Gihon Non-Aggression Pact, an incident and a historic 2-1 upset of then West Germany. Algeria, one of 48 countries, will be participating at the FIFA World Cup, and you can follow their progress right here on Nationwide 90 FM, who will have extended live coverage of the greatest show on earth.
That was Nationwide's World Cup Team Profile. Brought to you by the UDC, making development happen.
Most chief executives send their data protection officers to training and wait for a report to land on their desk. Maybe. On July 4, we invert that. The biggest privacy decision your company makes this year, you make it yourself. This is Data Protection Matters, powered by Design Privacy, and I'm your host, Chuku Emeka Cameron. Here is one sentence I want every chief executive listening to keep. A document your DPO drafts alone and slides across your desk to sign is a request. A document you and your DPO build together is enforceable. That document is called a charter. If you're new to this program, a DPO charter is a piece of paper that sets out your data protection officer's authority, what they can do independently, when they can escalate to you, and the promise that they won't be punished for telling you something you don't want to hear. For 4 weeks on this show, we have called that the human layer of data sovereignty. The law is one layer, the technology is another, but the layer that actually fails is a human one, the person who saw the risk and didn't have the standing to stop it. Now, here's where it gets concrete for the person who signs the budget. A charter on its own does nothing. It only matters when there's a risk to act on. And the tool that surfaces the risk has a name, a DPIA. A DPIA, a Data Protection Impact Assessment, is a risk assessment for the personal data your business holds. Before you launch something new with customer data, it asks one plain question. What could go wrong and for whom? Here's a real-shaped example. A company rolls out a system that scores customer using years of transaction history. The DPIA flags it, high risk. The data is being used in a way customers never agreed to. The privacy officer says don't proceed and gets overruled in an afternoon because the finding was only advice, no charter behind it. The risk went live anyway. So, picture the two together. The DPIA finds the risk, the charter is what lets anyone act on it. One without the other is half a job. And here's the part most boards don't know. Under the Jamaica Data Protection Act, Section 45, that DPIA isn't only an internal document. The Act contemplates it being submitted to the Information Commissioner. That rule isn't switched on yet, but it is in the Act, which means the document showing how carefully or how carelessly your company handles people's data could one day be read by the regulator. That's not a back office form. That is a governance document with your company's name on it. Which is why I'm talking to chief executives this morning. For the first time in 6 years, Design Privacy is coming off the airwaves and into our room. A live in-person workshop, Saturday the 4th of July. We built it for data protection officers and for the heads of department who actually own the data. But the reason I want you to hear about it is this. In one morning, your team builds a real DPIA on one of your own high-risk activities, not a textbook example. And alongside it, we build a charter, the same charter we have discussed for 3 weeks in the room, addressed properly, so your DPO doesn't walk out with a request for you to sign. They walk out with a document you can stand behind. The DPIA and the charter, built together, that's the whole idea. Let me tell you what the morning actually looks like, because I want you to know what you are sending your people into. We don't lecture, you work. By mid-morning, your DPO has mapped where your organization actually holds your personal data, the systems, the departments, the vendors. Then we take one of those, a real high-risk activity in your business, and run a full DPIA on it together, out loud, with other DPOs in the room pressure testing it. By the close, the charter is on the table. We work through 3 clauses that make it enforceable. Independence, escalation, and protection from retaliation against the activity you just assessed. The charter isn't aspirational. It is built around the real risk your company carries. You walk out with documents, not notes. So, 3 straight reasons it's worth your team's Saturday and ideally yours. 1. You find your high-risk processing in a quiet room now, instead of in a regulator's letter later. The cheapest risk to fix is the one you found yourself. Better to negotiate a hard clause in a friendly room than to discover it in a hostile one 6 months from now, when something's gone wrong and your lawyer is reading it for the first time. 2. Your DPO sees you take this seriously, and that changes their next 12 months. I'll be honest with you. The good data protection officers in this region are quietly leaving organizations whose leadership treats data protection as a paperwork burden. The ones who stay are the ones whose leaders showed up. That signals compounds. 3. You leave with something you can use, a DPIA report, a department map, a privacy notice, a compliance roadmap, and the charter. Put them together and that's a board paper, the thing you table at your next board meeting, without preparing anything from scratch, without spending a day on it. And there's a longer game here, which I'll say plainly, because this audience thinks in years, not weeks. The chief executives who put their organizations through this now, who sign a real charter, who read their first real DPIA, are the ones who will be ahead when Section 45 is switched on and the filing actually begins, not scrambling ahead. I believe the leaders in this first cohort will look back 3 years from now as the ones who got this region's data sovereignty conversation right, while everyone else was still treating it as compliance theater. That is not a small thing to be part of. But none of that vision matters if the basics are not done. And the basics are simple. A charter your DPO can rely on, a DPIA that tells the truth, built together by the people who own the risk and the people who can act on it in the same room. So here's how to be in that room. Privacy Made Practical, our in-person DPIA workshop, Saturday the 4th of July, 9 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon. The Courtly in Kingston, $125 a seat. I will be running it with my colleague Manning Marsh. Send your DPO. Send the head of department who owns the data processing. Better still, come yourself and sign the charter in the room. Bring your laptops. Coffee is on us. It is capped at 30 seats, and it is the first time we have done this in person in 6 years. I remember doing this actually 6 years ago, when 30 were full. Go to workshop.designprivacy.io. One more time. So it's not the usual designprivacy.io. I want you to go to workshop.designprivacy.io. So leave with this. A DPIA finds the risk. A charter lets the DPO act on it. And neither one is real until the person at the top of the organization is in the room. Saturday the 4th of July, the Courtly. Bring your DPO, or better, come and sign it yourself. Book your seat now. Workshop.designprivacy.io. This has been Data Protection Matters, and I'm your host, Chuku Emeka Cameron.
Rebuild with standards, rebuild with confidence. Test your blocks, concrete, cement, aggregates, and other building materials at the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. The BSJ, building a nation, test by test. The time by the BSJ is...
It's 8:33.
This is Nationwide's World Cup Team Profile. Brought to you by Digicel. Powered by you, connected by us.
Tunisia. They've appeared in 6 FIFA World Cups, 1978, 98, 2002, 2006, 2018, and 2022, with a 7th appearance secured for 2026. They made history in 1978 as the first African Arab nation to win a World Cup match. They beat Mexico by 3-1. Despite those milestones, they've never advanced past the group stage and will be looking to do so in 2026. Tunisia, one of the 48 countries, will be participating at the FIFA World Cup Finals in North America, and you can follow their progress right here on Nationwide 90 FM, who will have extended live coverage of the greatest show on earth.
That was Nationwide's World Cup Team Profile. Brought to you by Digicel. Powered by you, connected by us. This is Nationwide's World Cup Team Profile. Brought to you by the UDC, making development happen.
Algeria has qualified for the FIFA World Cup 5 times, 1982, 1986, 2010, 2014, and 2026. Their best performance was in 2014. They reached the round of 16. They're best known for the 1982 Gihon Non-Aggression Pact, an incident and a historic 2-1 upset of then West Germany. Algeria, one of 48 countries, will be participating at the FIFA World Cup, and you can follow their progress right here on Nationwide 90 FM, who will have extended live coverage of the greatest show on earth.
That was Nationwide's World Cup Team Profile. Brought to you by the UDC, making development happen.
We're back with you. It's Nationwide this morning. Our numbers for calling 630-937-124 and 618-6730. That's 630-937-124 and 618-6730. For those who are calling in, you're calling in to tell us that to tell us who your favorite team is. I'm not going to suggest who your favorite team is, but for those who are calling in, we have a little bit of time and we want to hear from you, our callers. Who exactly are you supporting for this World Cup? I know who I'm supporting. I know who you should be supporting, but maybe, just maybe, you're not supporting the team that you should be supporting. And Tana and I are supporting those teams for you. Oh wait, not those teams, that team. Look at that. Yeah, you almost thought it was multiple there. Nope. You know, in the past I've had other teams that I've been interested in, but I think it's clear cut this World Cup, and I don't think Mr. Killian will allow what happened last time to happen again. And I think now with Kante in the team, I keep saying it, I really want to see what the gel is like in that French midfield, Tana. I really want to see what's happening there. And I think today would be the best day of all days to see what's happening. Do we have a call online? Papa Nana, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning to you.
Good morning. Who am I talking to?
You're talking to Sandra, and Tana is in studio.
Morning to you, Papa Nana.
Hi. How you do?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Not bad. Sanjay wouldn't remember me, man. You wouldn't know it's who.
What do you mean by me not remember you, Papa Nana?
Hold on a minute. Alexa, turn off radio. Listen to me now. I don't know your people rules and regulations, and I don't want to do things that is against you people. It's only the football we can talk about.
No, I'm setting the rules and regulations. So if you're going to talk, you have to tell me which team you're supporting.
No. I'm not talking about the football. I asked you if it's that is the only thing that we can comment about the football.
No, but I am telling you that my rule is that you have to come and tell me which team you're supporting first. If you want to talk about anything else.
I have
Yes.
to tell you first.
Yes.
But after me, no have no Brazil
No.
is in it.
Yes, Brazil is in it.
Well, I would support Brazil because of their kindness towards me when we had made it to the World Cup.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Say less. Go ahead.
All
Papa,
right,
now.
so I can go ahead now.
Yes.
Listen to me now. I heard some people commenting about the condition of the hospital service, which, well, they have a point. But listen, let me tell you something, Sandra and Tana. I am a patient at the Mandeville, Florus, and Maple Hospital. And let me tell you something. As long as this government, and I want you to listen to me carefully because that's why God give us 2 ears and 1 mouth. So we listen more than what we talk. Not true?
I hear you, Papa Nana. Go ahead.
All right. And let me tell you something. As long as this government is in power, you will never find that the crowd is going to be left at the hospital or the clinic. You know why? Let me explain to you. The things that is offering at the hospital nowadays are never offered in the history of this country. And you know what caused it? The returning residents find out that they can get a lot of things here without they have to go to the private pharmacy and push them in their pocket because your pocket have so long. If I give you an instant, I have a tablet, and I won't go into the medical history.
Yes.
That I used to buy at the pharmacy for $4,000 something, right? Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Yes. And I went to Mandeville Hospital. May God ever bless Dr. Trenchfield. And the next doctor that I want to big up again is one at Maple. I don't remember his name, but anyway, by talking, I may remember. Jefferson, Dr. Jefferson. And I am recommending that they give those 2 people an award for Heroes Day. Dr. Jefferson and Dr. Trenchfield at Mandeville Hospital. Sanjay, let me tell you something. When I went there and I was telling him how hard sometimes it is to find the money to buy the tablet, he said, no, but the government offer it. I said, no. And he gave me the prescription, and when I went to the pharmacy in Mandeville, Sanjay, I get the surprise of my life. I got it.
Yes.
And I was so glad that I have to tell Mama Nana to buy three sala patty for me. You know?
Yeah.
I was so glad I could have eaten lunch.
But let me ask you something, Papa Nana.
So, hold on now. Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. So, it is going to get crowded more because there are things that have never been offered in this country before. And it's going to be worse because they have a program now that the Minister of Health bring in that they call period poverty. There are a lot of people going full here to get some because not everybody can buy it. You want you to follow in what I'm saying?
Yes.
It is going to pack up more. Right? So, and can you imagine if this country did not have such a destructive opposition, what this country would be? If this country didn't have such a destructive opposition, this country would be way ahead. And looking through to what I'm saying, the returning resident is grabbing up the good idea.
Let me ask you something quickly, Papa Nana.
Because some of them don't have no manners, especially some of them don't have the blood bank down by Mandeville. But I'm telling you, the service that this government offers, I'm telling you, man, it is wonderful. And no matter if they get 1 million doctor put there, the crowd is going to be there. Because what is offering now, it has never been offered before.
Papa Nana, question quickly before I let you go. It's that you use an NHF card, correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And we've talked about the benefits of the NHF card, but we're going to have to go and leave you, Papa Nana, because we have another call waiting. Thanks for calling in this morning.
God bless you.
All right, thank you. Good. All right. Do we have another call on the line? Okay. Well, let me see. No, we're not hearing our other caller. Well, it looks like our other caller has dropped. Wow. All right. David, thanks for calling, but you dropped. But it's time to go to our birthdays, Tana.
Yeah, and as we go to the birthdays, I'll just say, Sandra, that two things can be true
yeah.
at the same time.
Mhm.
You go into certain medical facilities and there will be doctors and nurses and other staffers in there that provide phenomenal service,
Mhm.
excellent service to you. You walk out of there feeling like you're walking on cloud nine.
Yeah.
And then you'll go to a different facility with certain staffers and you're just hopping mad.
Yeah.
Because the service is so poor.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that's why I think it was yesterday Cliff was applauding the mystery patient initiative that the health minister will be rolling out. And I too applaud it because outside of the fact that you'll have Jamaicans from time to time who their interaction with medical practitioners in some of these facilities is horrible and they come on social media and talk about it. Outside of that, what the mystery patient initiative will do is give these, quote unquote fake patients, they'll be able to go in and properly document however they choose to do the documentation of the service they've received. And there you can have it done on paper. The many times whomever is the mystery patient has gone to where and where and where, and the service they have received, whether good or bad. And that will help the Minister of Health to have something done on paper in terms of like, what would you say that now? That's quantitative?
No, qualitative.
Qualitative,
Yeah.
right? You'll have something done on paper that's qualitative research that will help them and guide them in doing what they need to do and holding people accountable. And it takes away the she said, he said
Yeah.
situation, because in many instances you have patients' families saying something and then practitioners saying
Right.
something else,
Yeah.
and then you're stuck like, you need some more evidence to support whichever
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
So that's what the mystery patient initiative will help to do, and hold those practitioners and management and whomever else to account.
And on that point, really quickly as well, Ton, I saw that some practitioners online were saying that the Minister of Health and the ministry need to give them the resources. And I agree about giving them resources, but I think two things can be true at once.
Yes.
Resources or not, we have a general service delivery problem in Jamaica.
How you treat people.
It matters. Yeah,
That's-
so even so I don't know if you gave them all the resources in the world, I don't know if the service, meaning how you interact
change your
with me,
attitude.
would change your attitude towards me. And I've experienced the good side of healthcare. I've experienced amazing doctors. I've also experienced, doctors and nurses that are like, why are you here?
Same.
They're just not excited. They're like, okay, I'm on my 72nd hour and I don't need to see you right now. And they give you, all of that comes down on you, the patient. And it's not something you would know because you just went in, you just want to be seen. But because of the pressure they're under, that pressure comes onto you. And then that's a general service delivery problem. So
Yeah.
I think both things need to be solved. And I think it's a good initiative as a standalone as it relates to solving a service delivery problem.
Yeah. We take a break now and come back with your birthdays.
This is Nationwide's World Cup Team Profile. Brought to you by the UDC, making development happen.
Ghana, the Black Stars, have appeared in the finals of the FIFA World Cup on 4 previous occasions: 2006, 2010, where they reached the quarterfinals, 2014, and 2022. They will make a 5th appearance at the upcoming tournament in 2026 and will represent one of Africa's best hopes. Ghana, the Black Stars, one of 48 countries, will be participating at the FIFA World Cup, and you can follow their progress right here on Nationwide 90 FM, who will have live and extended coverage of the greatest show on earth.
That was Nationwide's World Cup Team Profile. Brought to you by the UDC, making development happen.
Wise men say only fools rush in, and I falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin? I can't live falling in love with you.
Well, you know what time it is. It is time for your birthdays, as today is the 16th day of June. There are a lot of birthdays that are being celebrated. I'm going over to our Facebook to look at the birthdays there. And if you have birthdays in the chat, we're asking that you send them really quickly so we can go through them. Moonive, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Nehemiah Perry, it's your birthday. Very happy birthday to you. Ton Sims, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Ton Sims. Dorcas Myers, it's your birthday. Very special happy birthday to you. Stephanie Campbell, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you, Stephanie. Nadine Gardner, happy birthday to you. And Jacqueline Henry, a very special happy birthday to you.
Also seeing here, happy birthday greetings going out to ACP Andrew Lewis in Kingston, Detective Sergeant Orlando Anglin at the Falmouth Police Station. Happy birthday. Happy birthday greetings also going out to Donovan Gordon at the St. Thomas Division. And Donovan, a.k.a. Ratbat. All right, big up yourself, Donovan, on your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday greetings to Clive. That's Corporal Clive Smith in Westmoreland. Constable Jodine Kelly in Falmouth, Dr. Donald Pruhay, at the Cornwall Regional Hospital, Harry Blair in Mobay, Hugh Pottinger at Hughenden in Kingston, and happy 40th anniversary to Hugh Pottinger and let's see, Harvey Pottinger in Hughenden. So they're celebrating their anniversary today, the Pottingers. Happy anniversary to you. And all of these greetings are coming from Sergeant Wayne Wallace. And over on Facebook, Jem Kun is sending belated happy birthday greetings to nephew Christopher, a.k.a. Kufa, living in Toronto, Canada. And it's coming from your auntie Jem in Toronto as well, saying, love you, nephew. So happy birthday, belated happy birthday to you, Christopher.
Yeah, I have Aldous Ferguson saying happy birthday greetings to my first grandchild, Dwight Hill in Mobay. Greetings coming from your grandparents, sending you a lot of love. Dwight Hill, happy birthday to you. And I'm seeing here MS8329 saying June 9th she was off air and we didn't get to wish her a happy birthday. A belated happy birthday to you as one of our loyal YouTubers, and we wish you many more years.
Belated happy birthday to you, MS. Hope that you had a wonderful day on June 9. So if you're celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday to you. Patricia Richardson sending happy birthday greetings to her eldest sister, Beverly, a.k.a. Bev. 70 years old today. You're batting well, Bev. Happy birthday to you. And your sister is saying more blessings today and upon many more happy returns. And she's saying, love you, my sister. So happy birthday greetings to you, Bev, from your sister, Patricia Richardson.
Yeah, I have one for tomorrow, Jamoy Clark. It will be your birthday tomorrow on the 17th of June, and we're sending happy birthday greetings to you. Very special happy birthday, wishing you many more years.
Happy birthday to all the folks out there celebrating your birthday today. If it's your anniversary, like the Pottingers, happy anniversary as well.
Indeed.
Some things were meant to be. My hand, take my whole life too. I can't help falling in love with
you. It's time for Hot Listings, Nationwide 90 FM's on-air classifieds, made for quick ads and fast results.
Ants in your milk? Or maybe you have a rodent infestation. Whatever the pest, check Reedy's Pest Control. If you've got pests, put us to the test. Call or WhatsApp 876-807-7067. That's 876 807-7067.
That was Hot Listings on Nationwide 90 FM. Listings start as low as $1,500. Call 876-630-1210 to book yours today.
Ooh, baby, I love your way every day, yeah. Ooh, baby, I love your way every day. Shadows grow so long before my eyes, and they're moving across the page. Suddenly the day turns into night, far away from the city. But don't, oh no, hesitate, 'cause your love just won't wait. Hey, yeah, yeah. Ooh, baby, I love your way every day, yeah, yeah. I wanna tell you I love your way every day, yeah, yeah.
Well, it's been that type of show. I'm not going to say too much. I'm just going to say, look out for France a little later. That's what I'll say. And I know the Argentine fans, they're looking out as well. I know there are persons looking to the other match as well, Iraq versus Norway. And of course, you'll have those matches here live on Nationwide 90 FM with coverage here.
Listen, it makes such a difference to know that just in case you have to go on the road, you have to rush out to do something, you have no issues, you can just hop on over to Nationwide.
Yeah.
And the World Cup is right there. You're not missing out on much. Yeah, so for those out there, yeah man, stick with your dial to 90.3, 90.5, 90.7, 90.9. All the World Cup matches will be aired here on Nationwide 90 FM. So if you aren't at home, you're driving, of course it's a breaking of the rules to have your phone in your hand, Sandra, while you're driving.
Yeah.
So you can't have your phone out watching the game while you're driving, but you can listen in. Mm-hmm. And Nationwide provides you with that avenue, with that platform to tune in and listen to the matches, as I did yesterday when I was heading home and our song was playing, Mande Mabala, and somebody said, Mande Mabalot. All right, we're going to wrap this show and make way for the Consumer Hour, and a little later on, Cliff Hughes Online. So, I'm Tawna Thomas. Thanks so much to our technical operator for this morning, Damian Cunningham, our super producer, Michelle McCrae Smith, and our super editor, Kimone Thompson. I'm Tawna.
I'm Sandre.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You've just heard Nationwide this morning on Nationwide 90 FM.
Just won't Ooh, baby, I love your way every day. I wanna tell you I love your way. I wanna tell you I will love you always. I wanna be with you night and day, every day, yeah.
Fearless and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.
On Friday, June 5, many Jamaicans were gearing up for what would be a typical weekend. While some were heading out to enjoy the evening,